and I think we are live. We might be live. I think we're
I
live.
think we're
don't know.
live.
I think we're live. Nobody's in here yet, but if you're watching on the replay, hello, everybody. Welcome. Loki live stream number 1. We're doing it. It's here.
Woo-hoo!
We're talking Loki. I am, of course, joined by Sasha. How are you doing today?
I am doing great, Jack. How are you?
I am great. I am zapped from all the fun that I got to have today, but I'm here. I'm ready to go. I'm excited. This is going to be awesome. So we're going to start off just kind of building the audience up, talking to people in the chat, getting people in here. You know, obviously I just tweeted out, just did all that stuff. Yeah, I mean, we're going to get into this. I mean, this is, it's a thing. I mean, this was a great opening to just, could you have hoped for a better just beginning to this series, Sasha? I mean, could you have thought of a better opening to this? Can you hear me? Hello?
I'm so sorry. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. My AirPods just disconnected for some reason.
You're all good.
Trying to get them back up, but
yeah, we're all good. I want you all, if you're in the chat, to let me know what you thought of the episode. We are going to be talking for the next, I don't know, however long about Loki. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm very excited about it. We're going to give our reactions, our review. We're going to be doing a full spoiler review. Then we're going to be going through our theories. You know, we like to talk about theories. That's always fun. And we'll also be talking about what to expect from episode 2. Now, I will disclose that I've already seen episode 2. So I already know what happens. I will not divulge that side, obviously, because you guys got to wait, and I don't want to spoil it for you guys. But so I'm not going to drop any hints. I'm not going to do any of that. I want you all to experience it, because from what I saw, I really enjoyed it. But I want y'all to have the same reactions that I had. So I'm not going to talk about that tonight. But we've got Christian, really enjoyed the episode. Welcome to the live stream. Thank you for coming.
That is my boyfriend, Jack.
Oh,
I will introduce Stream and Fanatic Films. This is my boyfriend, Christian. So
nice.
Oh, okay. Nice. Well, yeah. The next comment will Thanks a lot, Christian. Really appreciate it. I was screaming. I was excited, jumping up and down the whole time. He may have been a little irritated when Tom Hiddleston was on the plane in the suit because of my reaction, but you know, there's things that people have to learn to live with.
Which is just such a great sequence, I might add.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, we'll obviously get more.
We'll get into it,
but that's just a brilliant sequence. I absolutely loved that part. But yeah, so thank you, Sasha boyfriend, for coming in and hanging out. I'm glad you enjoyed the episode. I really enjoyed it too. I'm just so glad I didn't have to wake up so early this morning to watch it.
That was so nice when you said last night that you got those screeners last minute. Like that worked perfectly for you, I feel like.
Oh, 100%.
With having to work today and stuff.
It did, because it set me up for the next 2 weeks, because like I had said in, I don't know, some update or whatever, I do a billion of those every year, that I was just like, yeah, I'm not doing Loki spoiler reviews. I'm not doing them because I work and I'm tired and I don't want to be exhausted when I go to work, which is still true. After episode 2, I'm not going to be doing those. But it worked great, because for this week and next week, I will be able to put out a spoiler review right when the episode comes out, which is great. But yeah, that was nice. I didn't think I was going to get it because everyone had already gotten it. And I had talked to my friend, Zach Pope. Y'all know Zach. Y'all love Zach. And he was like, they're being really wonky with it. I don't know what's going on. So I was like, okay, I'll just wake up at 6 a.m., an hour before I usually wake up, watch it, give my thoughts, and then be ready. But, I mean,
you got it. Now you're set, like you said, for 2 weeks, which is awesome.
2 weeks. And then when week 3 comes around, I'll be waking up at 6 a.m. That's okay, because this is a show that I think is worth it. I really enjoy it. I really enjoy the show. I mean, I'll give that spoiler away right now. I really enjoy the show. Sasha, I'm sure you really enjoy the show.
Oh, yes. I don't know obviously we're gonna have to talk about this a little bit because it's a natural conversation with this being now the third show. That's the Disney Plus MCU show. I feel like I definitely loved this episode so much, and I don't want to make the call too early that this will probably be my favorite MCU show to date, but I loved the other two, but there's just something special about this one for me, and the direction it's already headed makes me believe it's just going to get better from here on out. So that's what I'm excited about.
I think the thing, it's tough with the first few because it's you're kind of learning how to do it. They've had a very, they've had a very pinpoint way of how they do their storytelling, within a hour and 45 to 3 hour time period in a film. This is how long you have to tell your story, and this is how you do it. Now they're challenging themselves because they're in WandaVision, they were all still about 6 hours, 6 hours episodically.
Yeah.
To figure out how to tell a story. And I think each show so far, and obviously, we've only had one episode premiere to everyone so far of Loki, but in every show so far, I feel like it's got its positives, it's got its negatives. But I do definitely agree that I think Loki, it has the potential, just in the first episode alone, to really maybe potentially be the best thing we've gotten so far. I think.
Yeah.
Not really sure.
I think one of the things that I like off the bat about Loki, and I talked about this a little bit in my review, which everyone can watch after the stream. Don't leave the stream to go watch that. Watch it later. It'll be up for a while. But is that this episode felt like a true, it really taught you how to watch the show. It set you up perfectly. I feel like the exposition was good, even though it was a lot. And it didn't, WandaVision, we got the first 2 episodes dropped the same day. And I guess we kind of learned that it was going to be sitcom, but we still didn't really know much after the premiere. Falcon and Winter Soldier, they weren't even together the first episode. This episode, I feel like we kind of have all the pieces of the game. And now we just get to see how it plays out, which I think is what makes this... why people have such a strong positive reaction to this premiere.
Absolutely. We got Ricardo in here. How's it going, man?
Hey, Ricardo. I'm a bit
skeptical about how this show will shift the MCU, but I did really like Tom Hiddleston, Owen Wilson, and I'm very intrigued about the other Loki variant. Yes, we will get into more detail about this in a little bit when we do our review, but I mean, I think before we even watched the episode, we knew Tom Hiddleston, Owen Wilson were going to be fantastic. They were. I mean,
yeah,
they were really good. I really like their chemistry together. That was something that I really enjoyed. And yes, the other Loki variant, I'm very intrigued to see what happens. We haven't seen his face. We haven't seen we've just seen glimpses. It's a hooded figure, which I love. I love the mysteriousness of it.
I know. I like that that's not being given away, because I feel like sometimes with villains, I think there's a point where if you reveal too much too soon, it's not as scary. Or, I mean, obviously in this case, it's not necessarily scary, but you kind of have more time to figure it out. Whereas right now, we literally got like a blob of a person, their outside shape, and that's all we have to go on.
Yes, and also, and I hope this is not the trap that Loki falls into. This is kind of like the WandaVision trap for me, is taking too long.
Yes.
So we didn't even know that Agatha, okay, if you read the comics or you looked at the theories, you knew Agnes was going to be Agatha. You knew that was going to happen. But for the people that didn't know that, what was that? End of episode 6, end of episode 7, maybe?
Yeah, 6, 7, and 8 all kind of not blend together for me, not because they're not good, but they all take place in one day. They're all the same. They're not like a sitcom time period, and you just get a little bit more information. Because even when I think Agatha traps Wanda in the basement, I don't think she says I'm a witch. You get that in the next episode. The explanation, yeah. I think. I don't remember it that well because
she
it's
says
all...
something like, "Oh, you thought you were the only one with magic here," and then she said her name, and then it cut. That was
exactly.
So I hope that Loki doesn't go down that path. I don't think that will. I'm not sure. We got the 2 spectrums here. We got Falcon and Winter Soldier, we knew pretty much right away, more into the second episode, because the first episode was a lot of just kind of build up of what was going on. But really into the second episode, we knew right away who the villain were. We knew what was going on. And then with WandaVision, it was forever until we knew what was going on. So we'll see. But like I said, we'll get into that a little bit more as we go on. Marvel Studio, brand new supporter. How you doing, man? Love this episode. Glad to see you guys with this Loki live. We are happy to be here. I'm happy to be here. I know Sasha's happy to be here. We got 6 straight weeks of absolute fire. Well, 5 after this, but I'm very happy to be here and doing this. It's going to be awesome. Movies and Train Studios. Hey. What's up, man? How you doing? That's great. So before we get in, we're starting to get into it. We're going to get into our overall reaction. We've got, kind of a plan of how we want to go about this. The big thing I'm plugging tonight is subbing to my channel and also to Sasha's channel. But I am pushing really hard to get to 700 subscribers. We're almost there. We're less than 20 away. We're literally at 681. We're literally at 681. We are 19 subs away. I was at 684 at the beginning of today, and now I'm at 681. So people were not happy with my Loki review, I guess. But
come on, people, this is our chance to win you back. Come back.
We're gonna win you back right here. So that's what I'm pushing tonight. You're already here. Go down, press that big red button if you have not already, and let's get to 700 subscribers. It's right there. Just do it.
Also, people, it will really help us out if you like the video. I know that the live chat kind of covers it if you're on mobile or whatever, but be sure to give this live stream a like so that more people will see it if they miss it tonight.
I will say 2 things. Like the video and comment frequently.
Yes.
One thing that I've learned at work, because I do live streams on YouTube at work, is that when you want to build up an audience, when you want the algorithm to recommend this stream to more people, there needs to be engagement. So go in the chat, tell me how you're feeling about the episode, ask us any of your questions, and make sure you're also liking the stream as well, because then we'll get more people in here. We'll be having more of a conversation. It'll be a lot of fun, and it's going to be awesome. So what are we going to do? I want everyone to go down below, tell me their favorite part of the episode, and then we'll start with our overall reactions. Movies and Train Studios said the ending is fire. I think that's true. I think
yes, literally.
I think WandaVision, the thing I didn't like about WandaVision is that they consistently botched the endings. Consistently. So, or the cliffhangers. There was only one, I would say, there was 2 really good cliffhangers, I would say. The one where Monica gets thrown out of the Hex and when Evan Peters shows up. The rest of them, you needed to add 5 to 6 more minutes.
Yeah.
They didn't do that. Falcon and Winter Soldier absolutely nailed it. I think that they were absolutely fantastic. We'll see with Loki. I mean, the first one was off to literally a fiery start. Good. But yeah, I really like that. So the Infinity Stones are just paperweights now. That is destiny fulfilled. We will get into that later. I got a gripe with that. That line, I have a gripe with. We will get into that later. I'm not going to do that. Favorite part was Mobius's introduction with the boy or the child. Can't remember boy or girl. I'm pretty sure it was a girl. I
think it was a girl. I loved that. I loved the combo of the French, old French vibes with the setting, obviously, then his super futuristic stick man, and then the gum that looked like it was from the 1950s America or something. All those elements worked so well together in that scene.
I know. I love that. And again, I know I keep saying this, but I do want to save this for the review that we are eventually going to do, because that will actually be a cut on my channel later this week as well. I love their chemistry. It's fantastic. And we'll get into that later.
I think the other thing, really quickly.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. I think with this, it made a good point. We've been taught in these Marvel TV shows so far that we can't necessarily trust all the people that are presented to us as good people. I think this scene was meant to tell us, now I could be wrong, but I think it was meant to tell us the easiest way to establish that someone in a movie or TV show is a good person, kids or animals. And when they did this, plus can they make Owen Wilson a bad guy? I don't know. If any could do it, Kevin Feige can, but we'll get into that later.
Do I want to break your heart right now and like kind of give you a someone that did do something good with the child but then ended up being bad?
Okay, yeah, you can tell me.
Thanos in Infinity War when he first meets Gamora.
Okay, that's true, but
now that wasn't the first time on the planet,
and that wasn't the first time we met him, you know. But that is a fair point. Okay,
yes,
everyone.
That's true. Actually.
You know what I mean?
You're right. The introduction, we already knew Thanos. We knew what he was about. That's right. That's true.
But that is a good scene. That does complicate things. So
yeah, it does.
Children are not always good in the MCU, I guess.
Perfectly balanced as everything should be. Marvel stood well. I thought the DB Cooper scene was super cool and funny. I thought it was a clever tease in the trailer. I loved that. I know some people might say that that's kind of cheap. I didn't think so. I thought it was hilarious. It being like a bet between Heimdall and Thor. Like that's the best thing about this. I absolutely love that.
Owen Wilson's reaction too was like, "You were DB Cooper? That's awesome!"
We're gonna get into this. I'm about to gush about Owen Wilson. It's going to happen. But we're gonna get through some of these more of these. I adored the plot crazy. How many times? How this may have been the best character work we've done with Loki, and we still have 5 hours left. Cannot wait to see Lady Loki brought to life. Yes, another thing I'm going to get into in the review, the character work with Loki. Absolutely. Mwah. Chef's kiss.
Fantastic.
Cinecreep, how's it going, man? Can't wait to watch Loki. Still haven't watched it yet. I appreciate you for being in this stream. I really do.
You're a real one.
You are. If you don't want to be spoiled, I hate to say it, you might need to leave because we're talking spoilers. And I want you to be here. I want people to be here in the stream, but I also don't want you to be spoiled. So if you're okay with spoilers, now it is only the pilot, so not a lot really happened. If you're okay with spoilers, hey, stick around. We're going to have a great conversation. But if you do not want spoilers, I am giving a heavy spoiler warning right now. This is a spoiler stream. We're going to do a full spoiler review. I just want to warn you that's going to happen. So be prepared. Movies and Train Studios. I was looking at the upcoming Funko Pop releases, and there was going to be a new Loki and Morbius. I'm nabbing Mobius. I know Sasha and I were talking beforehand, and she liked them. I haven't seen them yet.
So I like them. The one thing I don't, which maybe it's just because I don't notice it that much on actual Tom Hiddleston's face. And this is so dumb, but the Funko Pop has a little bit, like the Loki one has a little bit of thick eyebrows. But I know those can't be the only two from the series. But I was actually admitting I don't have a Loki Funko Pop, and that's a problem that needs to be fixed immediately. These won't come out till August, but I really love the Agent Mobius one. I think it's great.
Oh, I'm getting Owen Wilson. It's happening.
Absolutely.
123 Rock fan. Ugh, I missed the first 15 minutes of the stream. Hey man, you're all good. Hey,
that's okay.
Beautiful thing. One, if you wanted to, you could scrub back and go to the beginning. You could do that. But if not, we will have the replay. It tomorrow. We will have the replay. Yeah, so we will have the replay. It's going to stay up on the channel. It's not going anywhere when we're done. The replay will be out. Go watch replay. Give us some watch time. Watch time is a great analytic that we need to get up. So let's get some more watch time. Binge watch all your movie draft episodes. Really enjoyed the series. Hey, thank you, man. If you haven't seen the update from last night, things are changing. We're changing up the schedule, which is fine. Breaks my little heart, but we got to do it. That's just how life goes. But I talked to all the competitors and Sasha and Chris last night over a chat. Everyone seems really positive with it. So they're still coming. If you'd like to be on, hit me up on Twitter. We'll get you on. Glad that Owen Wilson's not playing a comedic relief character. He seems like a real character that has an interesting arc. Yes, I agree with that, but I also do love his comedy, though. But we're going to get more into that.
Think I like that he's a main character. Because I think there's sometimes, one of the last times people are saying like they saw the best performance from Tom Hiddleston as Loki was Dark World, which literally it's in the title. It's kind of a darker film, but I think like having Owen Wilson as a main character who's a serious character, but still being like, just because you're serious doesn't mean you have to be funny or you can't be funny. So like, I like that he's a permanent funny staple. And I think his like Southern charm versus Tom Hiddleston's British, control acts, like it just works. It just is great. I can't believe this didn't happen sooner. I think I can't remember who keeps saying that, but somebody was like, how is Owen Wilson not being in the MCU yet? But this just makes perfect sense.
It's the perfect role for him. It really is. I heard the next episode is fire.
Jack, can you confirm or deny whether next week's episode is fire?
Yes.
There you have it. You heard it here first, folks.
I'm not going to spoil it. If you're just coming in, I did get to see episode 2 as well. I really enjoyed it, but I'm not going to spoil it because I want you guys to experience all the things that I experienced. That's all I'm going to say. It's a cruel, elaborate trick conjured by the weak to inspire the fear line of where it started. The beginning of Loki and Mo's conversation at the end of Loki saying how he feels was powerful. That whole conversation is brilliant. Love how it was written. Love how it was shot. Again, I know I sound like a broken record. We're definitely going to get into it with the review. I just want us to have a really good review, so I don't want to say too much right off the top. Creep, oh snap! Yeah, I'm going to head out to avoid spoilers. I dropped a like though. Have a nice night, both of you. Hey, thank you for dropping a like, and thank you for coming in. Hey,
thank you.
If you're still here, which I don't know if you are, but if you're still here, we're doing these every week. So if you get to watch the episode beforehand, come on in next week, and we'll be talking about episode 2, which is going to be great.
Yeah.
Ricardo, another great line with when the TVA said that the Avengers time travel was destined. Loki said that it was the last attempt to overtake him. Yes, I know, Ricardo, I don't know if you saw my comment, but I did comment back to you today from what you had said. There's a lot of specific lines and moments that I want to break down in the review, and that's one of them. Anything for a freaking Owen Wilson pop. Yes, my guy.
It's sick. It's awesome.
Do we need to
say? It looks so good.
Anymore. Absolutely incredible. I love how the TVA have clearly always been there in the MCU since its inception, but with only a short introduction at the beginning, they already feel like huge players in the MCU. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, I think this is something that I don't want to say like, oh, it gives me hope for the MCU or whatever, because obviously they can manage this stuff. They know what they're doing. But I think this introduction of not being like, we are so powerful and we do everything, but like almost like presenting it in that cartoon was the best way to do it, because it's like, we kind of control everything, but like we're going to have this little animated clock tell you that with the Southern accent. So like it doesn't seem too overwhelming. And this, I think this, I'll save this a little bit for my hot takes, but I think this is something that a lot of people thought of in the Eternals because of the specific, we've never interfered until now. So I want to get into that later, but so hint at that, but that's, that's where my brain's going.
I was just about to say that. I was just about to say the Eternals. It's the same thing. Also could picture Hugh Laurie in Owen Wilson's role. I don't know who Hugh Laurie is.
I looked him up. He looks, the only word that comes to mind is very British. It's the only word that comes to mind when I saw him. He's in House. He's the main guy in House, which I've never seen.
Oh, he's in this? House is in this? Okay.
I think what 123 Rock Fan is saying is like, I could imagine that if Owen Wilson wasn't cast, if we're misunderstanding you, let us know. But I believe that's what he was saying.
Either way, I know the House guy. Yeah, I think it'd be good. But Owen Wilson, just based on the first episode alone, the charm, it's his. His. That guy getting zapped shocked me, LOL. Yes. I mean, we saw it in the trailer, so I knew it was coming, but I actually had forgotten about it. So I was like, oh, that's a thing. That's what happened. So yeah, that was kind of funny. Scott, I do wonder who Richard E. Grant is going to be playing, because he's in the cast. I'm waiting for the he's Mephisto theories to start. I forgot Richard E. Grant was in the cast. I'm hyped for that because he's awesome. Yeah, we'll probably mention Mephisto in the stream. We will.
There's a certain scene, everyone who's seen it knows what I'm talking about, where I was like, that was the first thing that popped into my brain. Obviously this was filmed a while ago, so that wasn't filmed in response to the WandaVision stuff. But I definitely think that was kind of interesting, and I am excited to see where Richard E. Grant plays into this, especially because I feel kind of like now some of the cast roles seem pretty established. So I'll be interested to see when new people like get added on. I think there's some people, Sophia DiMartino being the main one I'm talking about, we know who she's probably going to play, but I'll be interested. Also, Jack, I don't know if you can hear me. You're a little frozen to me. If anyone else in the chat can let me know if Jack is frozen. Oh, looks like he's coming back. Coming back. Okay, he's back.
So
we fixed it, people.
I told Sasha beforehand, I said, my Wi-Fi is just trash tonight. It's just what's going to happen. Of course.
Oh, he froze again for me. It's okay, guys. We're rolling with the punches tonight. We're just doing what we can. We just want to talk about Loki, okay? We're just excited. If I'm talking over Jack, I sincerely apologize. Could be on my end that the Wi-Fi is bad. I cannot hear anything and he's frozen again for me. But yeah. And right now I don't have the ability to click on comments, so I can't bring anything else up. But I think Mephisto is something that I don't know if it's... People seem to really want him in the MCU shows. I don't know too much about Mephisto other than he's supposed to be like the devil, but I think it'll be interesting if he plays in. I just don't want to have a situation in Loki where we have too many villains like we had in Falcon and Winter Soldier. And I'm sure Jack and I will get into that later. Jack, are you back?
I don't know, am I?
You're back for me.
And
I don't know if anyone in the chat has noticed yet. So
I haven't touching anything. I'm just gonna stay like this. I'm not touching. Look,
just still.
Sasha's gonna. Look, I'm glad that I know that Sasha can stay in the stream and that it doesn't close for everyone. If I do,
and I'm a talker, folks. I'm from the South, so I can gab.
If I do cut out, I am sorry, but Sasha's here, so you're in good hands. I'm not touching anything. I'm not going to touch anything. I'm just going to touch my mouse.
I did see a StreamYard ad today that did say that you should use StreamYard because if you get disconnected from the Wi-Fi, your stream won't immediately end. So I think even if you're by yourself, that's a good sign.
Great. Okay.
We're not sponsored, but StreamYard, if you want to hit us up.
Great. Okay. Yeah, and don't make me pay for upgrade because I want to put a cool background in the background, but whatever. So I just finished watching The Nice Guys, Jack. It was amazing. I kind of want to be Ryan Gosling's character for Halloween. I told you. I told y'all. One of the most underrated movies of all time. I told y'all to go watch The Nice Guys, which, by the way, quick update, Jennifer finally watched The Town, so it's lit. And
Sasha
she loved
has not watched The Town.
That's okay. I know you haven't. I just wanted to give an update for everyone that Jennifer has, and she really enjoyed it.
Jennifer did a 24-hour movie binge, which I think is the best summer idea ever.
I'm gonna do that a day I have off.
I'm planning to do one as well.
Okay. Couldn't tell, but was the science fiction cityscape outside the TVA real or fake? I think it was real. Like
real as in diegetically real, or real as in green screen versus not green screen?
If I were to assume what he was asking, I think like what he's saying is it an allusion to Loki, or is it like real? I would say,
I think it's real.
I think it's real. Is it green screen? Absolutely. There's no way. Definitely green screen. You're not building a set that big.
No.
But yeah, I think it's real. I definitely, because you're housing all of these people, that are made by the timekeepers. I think it's real. I don't know.
I mean, Owen Wilson's cracking jokes about how he doesn't like the Nightmare Department, which I thought was a great throwaway joke just in there. I loved that.
But it's not a throwaway joke. That's like hella Easter eggs for the future of the MC. Nightmare, Doctor Strange. I'm not going to get into it. Yeah. I love how Loki has done more to establish the multiverse than what WandaVision did with just one episode. That surprised me. Well, it did, but it didn't, because I didn't really think WandaVision was going to really establish the multiverse. I don't think that's really what they were out to do. I think what they were out to do was really get the full potential of Wanda and really just explore her grief, because the Hex was her powers. It wasn't the multiverse. So I don't know if that's really what they were out to do. Loki 100% is out to establish the multiverse, or not establish the multiverse is what they're trying to do.
Work against it is what they're trying to do. Will they be successful?
We're going to get into theories at the end of the show.
I definitely think with WandaVision, though, I've listened to some great podcasts and interviews with Jack Schaefer, the showrunner, executive producer, head writer for WandaVision, and she specifically said that WandaVision was intended to outline the 7 stages of grief for Wanda and really explore her character. And even though I don't know how Marvel didn't think about this beforehand, I think it was supposed to be an origin story for Scarlet Witch that does we all knew, but they wanted to have it anyways. They wanted to have that official moment.
Yeah, 100%. I see Ricardo in there saying that I froze, but you still hear Sasha. So moving trains to be right back.
Good
Scott,
to know.
let it sink in. This version of Loki saw events in about 15 seconds, what took us 5 years to see. Imagine how he had to process all that loss and grief he always wanted but thought it wasn't real. Let's just, before we say anything, let's just wait for the review, because this is this one scene is something
this is the scene
in the review. So yes, I hear you, Scott. We are going to talk about it in depth in our review. So I'm just gonna say that. I love Tara Strong as Miss Minutes.
Hey, y'all, I'm Miss Minutes. I've been saying that all day.
It just a true pleasure, just an absolute pleasure. I really like that. So got the audience built up, talk to some people in the chat. So we're going to move on now, and we're just going to give our overall reaction. We're not going to get too into specifics, but just kind of give our reaction of the show as a whole. Just kind of, just say what we thought. First reaction. So I'm going to start with you, Sasha. I'm going to let you give your reactions. Just kind of, did you get what you wanted? Is it not what you expected? What I want to hear, because I know how much you love Loki. What was your overall reaction to this first episode?
I really loved this episode. I think some of the things I guess I'll touch on that aren't going to be probably covered anywhere else. The production design of this show is everything I could have wanted to be and more. It was, if I had to give like 2 comparable shows that other people might have seen, really reminded me of Mindhunter and really reminded me of Legion, specifically like the first episode of Legion, which is another Marvel show, if you're into X-Men. But yeah, I was really blown away. I said this in my review on my channel. I knew I was going to love this because I love Loki. I love Owen Wilson. It's Marvel. What is there not to like about it? But I couldn't help but be genuinely amazed and like fully immersed in this. And I think one of the things I really loved was that this is the first show to not give us a time gap between the end of Endgame and now. Like we see exactly where the character starts out and we follow him second for second. Now, apparently time passes differently in the TVA, so we'll see what other stuff has actually been going on as we get into the show. But I've said this earlier in the chat, I think this episode was truly brilliant and like what a TV pilot and the first episode of a TV series is supposed to do. It's supposed to teach you how to watch the show, teach you the characters, let you know what the basic premise is, let you know like, oh, when this happens, or like this episode kind of has a pattern of 3s, which I'm really a fan of in writing and television and all that kind of stuff. 3s with the times he drops, 3 with the number of scenes they're kind of in that projector room, which we'll get into later. But I couldn't have gotten more, I think, out of this episode. Like I genuinely loved it. Like this will probably go down. Obviously, we're going to have 5 more hours, 5 more episodes of this that I'm going to love. But Loki just being my favorite character, getting to see him. And for me, the 2012 Loki is especially like has my heart because that was the first Avengers movie I saw was Avengers. He's the main villain in that. And that's where this all picks up. So seeing him in that pocket, and I think getting to know that other people are going to learn to appreciate the character the way I have for the last 10 years of my life, like that's super exciting. And I think this is a character that this is the, like Loki, I don't think should have ever had a movie. A TV is the perfect place for him. Perfect. Absolutely. So I loved it. What about you, Jack? What did you think of this episode?
Yeah, I mean, I genuinely was kind of blown away. So I came into this not really, I didn't want to say my expectations were low because obviously it's Marvel. I'm going to love anything that is Marvel. But if we had to look at like the list of projects that were coming out, there were a few, maybe not a bunch, but there was a few that I was like, yeah, I'm more excited for those than Loki. It ranked high. It did, but I was still a little skeptical. We didn't get a lot of marketing for it. And I know we talked about this in our live stream last week. We really didn't get much marketing for it. We got maybe 2 trailers. As this week came on, we started to get some more stuff, but I was still a little like, let's see. I'm going to see what it is. It's more like a WandaVision, and it doesn't deal with just the nitty gritty hardcore like the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier is very straightforward. Whereas like a WandaVision or a Loki, you don't really know. So just general reactions, I was pleasantly surprised with what we got. We'll get into more of the technical aspects in the review, but let's just say I love the tone. I love just where the story is going, the potential the story has, And I'm ready to theorize. I know that in WandaVision, I was getting sort of frustrated with all the people theorizing and making these really bold theories that just weren't going to come true. I don't think you back yourself up into a wall in this show like you did in WandaVision. Because in WandaVision, there were people in the outside world that had the potential of running into these characters. Like a Reed Richards, like a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, like those people. There was the potential. When you're with the TVA, you're in this confined space where, yes, if they go on missions, obviously they may run into somebody. That could happen. But I don't think that the potential is there as much as it was in WandaVision. So I'm more looking forward to theorizing about the show itself, not all of the side stuff that, oh, hey, I hope this happens. This could potentially happen. I think this is the perfect combination where it's not like Falcon and Winter Soldier where there's no theorizing at all. But it's not WandaVision where it's like, oh my God, like everything could happen. The X-Men could show up. Oh, right. Like, that's not this. This is, let's theorize about the show itself, not all the ancillary stuff. So I really enjoyed that. I mean, I just think it was the perfect way to start the show. And we really built up a nice universe. And I'm very excited for what else we've got coming up because the potential for this show is huge. But those are our initial reactions. I think now let's just get into our review. Let's get into just talking about this episode because there's so much stuff that we talked about with the chat. And also, I'm going to say before we get into the review, be putting stuff in the chat because after we do this review, we're going to be answering your guys' questions. If you got questions, if you've got theories, if you just have things you want to talk about in the chat, put them in.
Let us know.
We are going to hit them after we do our review. We got a whole segment planned out to just talk to you guys, talk about your stuff. So get those in there. We see them. We will answer them and talk to you guys after we finish our review. But let's get into our spoiler review. Spoiler warning. This is a spoiler warning. We are talking spoilers for episode 1 of Loki.
Bye. If you haven't seen the episode, we don't want to ruin it for you unless you're okay with that.
If you want us to spoil, then stay. If you don't, we'll see you next week. Let's get into the review. So, all right.
Now we can talk about the real stuff.
We can talk about the real stuff now. I loved this episode for so many reasons. I'll list off a few and just real quick. Then I'll have you say give your thoughts, and then we'll dive deep into some of these specific aspects. So just to list off a few things that I really, really enjoyed. Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston's chemistry is absolutely fantastic. I could not wish for another dynamic detective duo like these two. Love that. I love the DB Cooper gag. I think it was executed to perfection. I love the fact that it was a bet that he had with Thor and Heimdall. Absolutely brilliant. I love the second half of the projector room because the first half, he doesn't believe it. I do love that conversation, but that's not my favorite. My favorite is the second part where he comes back in by himself and watches his tape. That is brilliant character development, brilliant storytelling, and just fantastic acting work from Tom Hiddleston. Just brilliant. Great cliffhanger, great story development. Overall, just in my quick thoughts, so well done. Just absolutely brilliant. The world building, everything is great. I love this episode. Sasha, I'm going to throw it over to you. What are your thoughts on this episode?
I mean, I loved everything about this episode. I just spewed my guts of how much I love this episode, but getting into specifics, I think 3 of my favorite moments from this episode are things that happen in that room. I think there's 3 parts to that scene or that room that I think are particularly important. When Loki's first in there, he's in denial. This isn't real. I'm so powerful. He's still going on his 2012 Loki spiel as we expected him to. The second time he comes in after he's escaped and he's by himself, that's when we get the real power progression. Because at that point, he has already realized how powerful the TVA is and almost shifted his sights from maybe I should give up this control of Midgard or Earth and maybe my sight should be on this. That wasn't explicitly stated in the episode, but I'm sure that's what he's thinking, just knowing who he is as character. But then seeing in a matter of minutes, like someone said earlier, what we've seen in 5 years, his mother die, his father accept him as his son, die, and then himself die, and see that the guy that he thought he was being a crony for gets all the Infinity Stones, and Loki just, like, any of his pursuits are fruitless. Like, that was brilliant because it caught the character up to speed with where the audience is. We don't have to spend this time being like, okay, when is 2012 Loki going to give up this, power thing? And then, like, that just got us to the meat and potatoes of the episode. And then the third time, it directly follows that, but I feel like there's a distinct, like, cut once it says file has ended and Mobius comes back in, and they have that chat where Loki is basically like, I do it to invoke fear in people because, like, I am, like, a weak person. Like, I don't enjoy killing people. I just see it as, like, a necessary means, and, like, I'm not opposed to doing it. And I think that's where we see, like, those 3 steps are, like, bam, 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 get us to where we need to be with the character. Like I said, I like the rule of 3s. I think it's very good. You have his denial, his realization, and then acceptance. And I think that's really strong for his work as a character. I would go as far to say, as we've done more with this character than maybe we've ever seen in the MCU so far with him, and potentially more than we have with any other character, just because Wanda was good at the beginning of WandaVision. She gets a little bit more powers, but she's still good at the end. Sam Wilson is good at the beginning of Falcon Winter Soldier. He just gets elevated to Captain America. With this, we have done some quick character work, and I really love that. And then the last thing I was going to say, just because I feel like this will go into the next thing, I personally really liked the Infinity Stones as, like, how shocking that is for an audience who spent the last 23 films being like, Infinity Stones, and then they're in a drawer. Just, like, of the just sheer shock of it. Like, I think that was a great visual, a great piece, both for the character and for us as an audience to show us who we're dealing with here. I really liked it, but I know you have differing opinions, Jack.
Yeah, so before I get into that one line, I'm going to harken back real quick to what you just kind of covered really brilliantly about Loki and his character development. This was a big problem that I saw could potentially arise that I was a little bit worried about. I had seen people on Twitter and on social media saying, okay, this is cool, but how are you going to take 2012 Loki, who is dead set on ruling the world, and how are you going to turn him? And is it going to be rushed, and is it going to be too quick? That was something I was legitimately worried about, but I think the way they did it hit the nail on the head. Absolutely fantastic. I love what they did.
Because the only thing he wants more than power is to not die. You know what I mean? So, like, showing him that he's gonna die and everyone he loves is gonna die, that's the only way to, like, get his head right.
Yeah, and he always says, he's like, I'm a god, I'm immortal. Like, he's saying that because, and he's not saying that to invoke fear. He's saying that to, like, remind himself and, like, keep himself like, I'm a god, I'm immortal, like, I'm good, we're good here. But in reality, as we've learned in the MCU, just because you're immortal, you can still die. Like, you can still die. So that's something I really, really loved about that, is that they took that problem that could have arose, they squashed it, and they did it the right way, which I really enjoyed. But yes, some of our guys use them as paperweights. So what you're telling me is that Gamora sacrifices herself. Black Widow sacrifices herself.
Didn't think about it this way.
You're telling me that Tony Stark makes the ultimate sacrifice and dies wielding these powerful stones. You're telling me that many, many people died and were sentenced to terrible things because of these stones. But for the TVA, our guys just use them as paperweights. You're taking the most powerful things that we have been obsessed with for the last 11 years, and you minimize them to paperweights.
I can see where you're getting at. I can see where you're going.
Is brutal. Now, that may be me, as the Tony Stark stan that I am, a little salty because my guy died because he obviously, as a mortal human being, could not handle the power of the Infinity Stones. But for someone, that line, it's that one line. That one line. You could have showed the Infinity Stones, and that would have been like, oh my God. Like that would have been shocking. And then just said, yeah, we get these a lot because variants have them. Like, their power, they take, and we have to take them from them. But no, you downplay it and say, oh, our guys use them as paperweights. Blah, 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 blah. Bro, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What is that? I don't like that. I didn't like that. That was maybe the one thing that I did not like about this episode. Like, legitimately.
I think I see now what you mean with those have been important, and now that we're being told, they're not really.
They're worthless.
I think the only thing that in my head why it doesn't bother me as much, obviously everyone's entitled to their own opinion, totally fine. I think for me, it's the idea that the sacred timeline is sacred, and it operates on this like fate or destiny or inevitability, whatever you want to call it. Idea that certain things are supposed to happen, certain things, people are supposed to die, certain bad things are supposed to happen so that certain other things can happen. And ultimately, to me, like, I get it if, like, I don't know, it doesn't bother me as much because I think the only way to end Endgame was for Tony Stark to snap his fingers, say, I am Iron Man, save the whole world. Like, that is the only thing. End it where you started it, with Tony Stark. So to me, I get that's that sort of thing, but I agree. I can see where that line is a little bit more controversial of, like, we're about to get a movie from a character who jumped off a cliff for one of those things, Yeah. So I can see that. But I do think it's a very powerful visual in the sense that it's telling us we're done with the Infinity Saga almost. Like, there are beings that you are now spending time with as an audience who absolutely 100% can disable these things to be paperweights. And I think I understand what you're saying of that line being that way, but I also feel like it's supposed to be just as much of a shock to Loki because he then sees himself get killed for one. He knows how much he's done for just the Tesseract in 2 movies at that point in the timeline. So I like the visual of being like, these things are in a drawer. There's other things to be worried about or be concerned with going forward in the MCU, not the Infinity Stones. Plus, I would have wondered for a while if we never saw them. Like, okay, so those things are just floating around out there. Like, what's going on? Especially if we're dealing with different timelines. But I can see where you're coming from with that line.
Yeah, and the other thing that kind of, I'm more okay with it than the Infinity Stone because I feel like that was blatant and didn't need to be there, is this whole argument about destiny, free will, or this is just how it's supposed to happen. Because now it kind of feels like, oh, and look, I'm still in the thing of Tony Stark made that decision. That's what it was. And that just happens to be how the sacred timeline it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
But I did have some people in my comments today say, hey, this kind of just makes that all meaningless. Tony Stark, this wasn't his choice. It was just the choice of the timekeepers, basically. I don't think that's 100% true. I just think that those events, they were always going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't necessarily minimize what Tony Stark did or what the Avengers did. All it does is just say, yes, it happened. Tony Stark made the decision to sacrifice himself. That happened. It was supposed to happen. And I wanted to bring this up also for some people because I had another comment about this as well. Someone said that they didn't like how it didn't make any sense how the Avengers are able to go back in time in Endgame, screw with the timeline, kind of do all of that. And I just want to put this out there so that rebut that and kind of just tell you guys kind of the thought to that. In the episode, this is literally a line in the episode. So maybe if you guys didn't hear it or not, I'm going to tell you right now. Loki says, he's like, okay, well, what about because they're saying that Loki did something wrong. He bust off the timeline. So Loki's like, okay, well, but what about the Avengers? Like, did they just went back in time? They just screwed stuff. Like, what about the Avengers? And the judge says that was supposed to happen in the sacred timeline. The Avengers going back in time was set by the timekeepers. That was supposed to happen. So that explains why it does, because Steve Rogers was always going to go back and return the stones to where they were, not make any branch realities. That's how it was supposed to happen on the sacred timeline. So I just wanted to clarify that for some people, because I saw a comment about that today, just saying, hey, that doesn't make any sense. Why could the Avengers go back and Loki can't? Because on the sacred timeline, that was supposed to happen. Because do you remember, if you go back in Endgame to 2012, when Hulk smashes Tony Stark and the Tesseract goes away, that's not part of the plan.
Yeah.
That's not part of the plan. So that's why when Loki takes it and goes, that wasn't supposed to happen in the sacred timeline. So I just kind of wanted to clear that up. So
yeah, I think too with that, it's like, if you think about, I'm a very visual person, so I liked Owen Wilson's like machine that showed them how close they were to multiverse, or like how far the timelines were branching in certain areas. I think that's probably one of those things where it's like, maybe the Avengers branch is so minimal and they know that that's supposed to happen anyways, that maybe it's like, okay, because the branch that what is Tilda Swinton's character's name? The predecessor to Doctor Strange.
The ancient one.
Yes, the ancient one. So when she does that like thing and explains to Banner, Hulk, this is what the timelines are like. If you pluck an Infinity Stone, like it's going to branch off. Like by returning them, they already fixed the timeline. So it's already like a closed loop. So I feel like that's, I get that people want to pick these things apart. Like I like to do that too, you know, make sure stuff adds up. But I think this one's pretty clean. I think that all makes sense. I think you did a great job of explaining it.
Yeah, I would argue on their pad that shows them, they didn't even get a branch, because what they did is they went back to the exact second when they took the stone. So if you're on that date, nothing has changed. Nothing has changed, because Steve Rogers afterwards goes back to the exact millisecond and puts the stone back. So they probably didn't even know. It just in and out, you know, if that makes any sense. So
yeah,
I want to get more in depth about the projector room, or whatever we want to call it. I want to get more in depth about that. I want to get more in depth about the conversation he has with Owen Wilson. Not necessarily the first one. The first one's just kind of funny, like, hey, whatever. But I want to get into the meat and potatoes. The one scene where Loki is by himself, and the scene where Mobius comes back in. And we talked about it a little bit, but I really want to break it down. This is specifically, this is the best scene of the show. The one where Loki is by himself is the best scene of the show.
Absolutely.
Of this episode. And I already touched on it a little bit, but this is brilliant character development. You get to see a villain who was almighty, all powerful, thought he could do nothing wrong, truly get broken down. Watching the look on his face when he watches his mom die is heartbreaking. Watching when he's sitting there with Academy Award winner Anthony Hopkins and he fades away, like he broke down. That is brilliant acting by Tom Hiddleston. And I love everything about that scene. What do you think, Sasha?
Yeah, I mean, I think for a lot of people, I don't know how many people know this, I'm pretty sure Tom Hiddleston is like very theatrically trained. Like he knows what he's doing with acting. And I think the fact that maybe his performances haven't been all that like memorable in other stuff is because he's playing the character so well. He's being the proper side character. But this moment like allowed us to see really what his acting chops are. But more importantly, with Loki as a character, like we've never seen him in that state. Even when he's in his disheveled state in Thor: The Dark World, when he's in prison, what should have happened in the sacred timeline, when he's put in prison and he's like starved and pale and whatever, like he is still in control in those scenes. This scene is the first time we have ever seen this character not in control. Even when Thanos kills him, he's saying, you will never be a god. Like he's making claims and powerful statements and trying to trick him. Like this is the first time we've ever seen this character break. And I think getting to know that the rest of the series will explore how he rebuilds himself in that second scene and then going forward is going to be super exciting. But yeah, that was for sure the scene of the episode. And then the fact that like you even get the finality of the final, like the file is ended, like it's over, and you see the thing come off the film come off the reel, and like you know, like okay, that has some finality to it that's pretty powerful. And he even gets up from the chair he's in and goes and sits on the floor, which is pretty defeatist. And like I don't know, I loved it. I love that people are getting to see. I think the one thing I've loved about Loki since Thor is that he as a character is incredibly broken. He comes from all of his want for control and power is, I think, to prove to his parents that he belongs, or to the world or the universe or whatever, that like he is powerful, he can like make a name for himself basically, because he's not Odin's son, he's not truly Thor's brother, he's lived in his shadow, and like he wants to make a name for himself, and he goes about that in the mischievous, evil ways that he does. But he has always been just like a broken character who wants a sense of belonging, and he seeks that in power and control. But now he's realizing that nothing he does, no matter how powerful he becomes, and the events that he now accepts as being inevitable events, like there's nothing he's going to be able to do to protect his mother, who he loves most in the world. His father will eventually accept him, and then he's going to die. So like none of these things he wants, this belonging from his father, power, whatever, is ever going to come to pass. And I think that is all just packed in that little scene of one man reacting to probably a green screen at the time. Incredible.
It's the best. It's the best moment in that episode by far. All right, I want to transition a little more lighthearted. We got to talk about Owen Wilson.
Oh my gosh.
We got to talk about Owen Wilson. The best. Now in one episode, I couldn't see anyone else casting that role.
No. Mm-mm.
I mean, he brings, because it's a very, I know it sounds weird, but I'll explain. This is a very subtle performance.
Yes.
And what I mean by that is, you think Owen Wilson's going to be all quirky and funny and, like jokes, Wes Anderson kind of quirky like he usually is. You get a little bit of that, but it's not so forefront. It's also serious. You can tell with his, with some of the conversation he had, he's trusted in the TVA, but he wants to really prove himself and kind of gain some recognition for all that he's done for the TVA. And for him to stick his neck out for Loki is just, it says a lot, because he's like, no one else is going to accept him. This variant Loki is going to die. I think he can help us. I see the potential. I want him to stay and be here. So I really like that. And then just the chemistry with him and Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah.
It's just, you don't think it'll work, but it 100% works.
Someone mentioned in the chat, Scott Cluna said, Hiddleston and Wilson's characters from Midnight in Paris are variants from another universe. Changed my mind. I have not seen Midnight in Paris, but apparently they're both in that. So I wonder if like having that already like real life performed together situation has helped this. I mean, regardless of whether it's just them and their talent as actors, or whether it's they have a friendship or whatever, they're phenomenal. I agree. Like, I think, sorry to Sam and Bucky, but they're the best duo in the MCU currently. I really love them. I think it's perfect. And I totally agree with you. Owen Wilson, this is where I think people, like, I always think of Owen Wilson as like him and Vince Vaughn in a buddy comedy. Like, that's who Owen Wilson is. But I think seeing him in this role, it's like, no. He's not just Wes Anderson quirky. He's not just funny guy. He knows comedy so well that he can balance it and like turn it on and off when he needs to. That's amazing.
Yeah, and it's all about the comedic timing, because he doesn't do anything so boisterous or outrageous. It's like the little things that he'll say. He'll be serious and then he'll like do like a little thing. He's like, but you love to talk. You're like it's the way that he delivers it. It's not a big bombastic performance. It is a very subtle comedic performance. And I love that, because he's just like so amazed by Loki. He's like, oh my God, you're Loki. I'm a huge fan, like all this stuff. And I just, it is kind of quirky, but in a different way. It's not the normal Wes Anderson. It's not like the normal Wes Anderson, Owen Wilson quirky. It is a different level. And I really love that. And it works so well, because you can tell that he has, I don't want to say the power, but he kind of does. He has the power over Loki, because Loki is a prisoner of the TVA. Owen Wilson is the guy that's here to help him out.
But he knows, even as a character, to play that like to his advantage in ways that doesn't like piss Loki off, but really like, he's playing the role of Mobius, downplaying his importance in the TVA to Loki. That's insane.
And it's also the God, I had it on the tip of my tongue. What was I going to say? crap, I forgot. I had it.
Sorry, I totally cut you off.
No, it's not you. That was a great point that you made. But it's really what it really comes down to is just, it's like I said, it's the delivery. But yeah, I mean, the chemistry just works well. He has the power over him, and no, I remember what I was going to say. So you had said, he acts like he's kind of lower down on the TVA, but he also knows the power that he has, and he knows how to toe the line. He's never going to say anything that's truly going to piss off Loki. He delivers it in a way that is, no, I'm not here to piss you off. I'm amazed at what you are, what you do. And it feels authentic. It feels like he truly means what he's saying, which then comes off as funny, because some of the things that he's saying in amazement are just funny lines.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I love about it. It all comes down to the delivery. It all comes down to the authenticity, literally, of the lines that are said. And with that, the way he delivers those lines makes it authentic, but also makes it quirky and funny. So I really love that. A few more technical things from my part. I think the direction overall is fantastic. The cinematography is incredible.
Beautiful.
Absolutely incredible. Literally, the scene that we're just talking about Loki watching, when they get extra close up on his face and just watch like his eyes literally like go from dry to water up. I'm like, that's incredible. I mean, the cinematography in the MCU, I think, is undefeated. I think the MCU cinematography in general is highly underrated. I mean, literally, just the scene from Endgame where you have Captain America sitting and you got all of Thanos' army. I like that shot. Is iconic. You should put that thing up in the Louvre. I'm not joking.
Yeah.
The cinematography of the MCU is incredible, and it is again here with Loki. It's just fantastic.
I think people are really only starting to talk about it in the sense of like Eternals. And I think what people don't understand is like, so that scene specifically with Steve Rogers, like that is like, you can get in whatever arguments you want about CGI or whatever the movie's like half constructed, but I'm like, that's still a piece of art. Like in art, cinematography is just composition of the way the medium you choose, what you choose, where you choose to put things on the canvas or the paper or whatever. And that's all it is in film. And I think you're getting very stylistic versions of this in the TV shows and probably in Eternals, but it's always been there. And that's always been an important part of the MCU. It's always been a visual storytelling franchise. So I'm glad at least now it's getting the recognition. And I really do hope these shows give people a renewed appreciation for some of the older stuff, because they'll be more dialed into it.
Absolutely. And, the next point I want to hit on as well is the world building. I think the world building in just episode 1 is just incredible.
I'm really shocked with how much they were able to accomplish in this episode. Just because I didn't feel like we got this with either of the other two shows. So not that they couldn't do it, but it seemed to take them more time in the other shows. Whereas here, geez, like right off the bat.
You're just showing like a propaganda cartoon infomercial and you know everything. And it works. It doesn't feel like it's too rushed. It doesn't feel like anything like that. It just works. And I really enjoyed that. I thought that was very, very well done. I think if they didn't do this episode perfectly, the character development of Loki could have felt extremely rushed.
Yeah.
The world building could have felt extremely rushed. But I don't know what it was about the delivery of both of those things, but it was just done so good that you are caught up. You're up to date. It didn't feel rushed at all. I mean, do you agree? I don't know. Like,
yeah, no. And I mean, I feel like even saying, oh, we're up to date, or Loki as a character is up to date, kind of even undermines what this episode was able to accomplish, because it wasn't just, okay, here's where we are. Next episode, we'll get into stuff, right? It was like new information, catching you up to speed, teaching you about this thing that has supposedly existed forever. And in addition to that, giving you a feel of like new content, where stuff is going. I don't like to use the word perfect because everything can always be improved, but like this is pretty damn close, because it's just everything, the impeccable amount of detail to every aspect of this TV show is so tangible. I also love, and you tell me if you notice this, Jack, how this world feels very lived in. Like, it feels like a really old 1970s DMV that might be in space, but like, you know, like, I don't know, it had the setting of the TVA itself was like kind of a character within the episode. And like even just the wood carvings in the courtroom, it felt like lived in. It didn't feel like it was like, oh, there's this brand new shiny thing. No,
it doesn't feel new. It feels like it's been there since the beginning of time. You can believe that. It's very authentic. And I like that, because you could make it look all new and fresh, like S.H.I.E.L.D., like in WandaVision.
Or Sword, yeah.
Or Sword, Sword. In WandaVision, it's new, it's fresh, it's sleek.
Modern.
But no, this feels like there are coffee stains on the desks, and people have been here for a long time. Like, you feel that, and I like that.
People retire from this place. Like, this is a career job, you know? Like, I love that.
Yeah, and it's not like fish out of water. Well, it's fish out of water for Loki, but it's not for the others. It's not like we have no idea what's going on. This is brand new for us. The people there, they're like, yeah, we've been doing this forever, literally forever.
This is a 9 to 5 for us. Like,
yeah, like the guard, like the guards, that one lady, I don't know what her name is, but she's like a badass, like that one guard. And then Mobius, even he's been like, I've been here forever. Like, you know, like it's not new to them. This is their everyday. Like, this is what they do. I really like it. That's a good point that I didn't really think about, but that really is true. And I completely agree with that. I think that's really, really well done. And
her name is Hunter B-15 is her character name.
Okay, Hunter B-15 is a badass, I would say.
She's
a badass.
I also loved the judge.
Yes. I think she can have a bigger role. I think she is.
I agree.
I think she knows more than I think she's letting on. I think. So we'll see. But what was I going to say? I don't know. Before we finish out this review, I want to give final thoughts. Sasha, your final thoughts. What did you like? What did you not like about this episode? Episode number 1.
I genuinely, like, I would be lying if I said there was anything I didn't like about this episode. If I rewatch it and I feel differently, I will comment on this live stream and to let the people know, or talk about it next week. But I genuinely can't think of anything I didn't like about this. I mean, I think about this with the Marvel TV shows, and I don't know why this is the way I like justify them in my mind, but I think to myself, if the series were to end here, or this was all I was to get for this character, or like this is what I paid $10 a month for Disney Plus or whatever I pay for it, like I would be happy with this episode. Like, that sounds so dumb, but like if this was all I got for Loki, I don't know. I feel super satisfied with what this episode is. I can't wait for the future. I really have full trust in this series and where it's going, and I can't wait to be in this world more. Because I feel like we'll be in and out of the TVA in the next couple episodes, but I love the world. I love the characters. Everything that should be good and established in the first episode of a TV show has been for me, and I'm so excited to go forward with it.
Yeah, I think I pretty much did. My final thoughts echo pretty much everything that Sasha says, besides a few little things.
Yeah.
The screaming Infinity Stone as a paperweight line. Besides that, I mean, it's solid. I think the performances are fantastic. The cinematography, like I talked about, is great. I think this is some of the best character development and story world building that we've had in any of the TV shows in the first episode. I think they did that really well. The pacing was fantastic. I think the pacing of this show might be flawless so far, at least. We'll see how it continues, but I loved it. I'm very excited to see the next. Well, okay, I've already seen the next episode. But I'm very excited. Knowing what happens in episode 2. I'm very excited to see episode 3. I'm very excited to see the rest of the series. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. And that is the end of the review, guys. Before we get into, we're going to take your guys' chats right now. Before we get into that, again, I'm just going to throw this out there. We're pushing my subbing to the channel here today.
Sub, guys. It's a big red button right there.
Trying to get to 700 subscribers. It's a big red button. It's not too far away. We're less than 20 away. We're 19 away. I want to get to 700. I've been pushing it for the last, I don't know, about a month and a half or so. If you guys have not already, please consider dropping a sub. It means the world. But
you won't regret it, guys. I promise you.
Thank you, Sasha.
As a long time being a couple months subscriber, never once has Jack disappointed me. So I think I can vouch and say It's worth your subscription. And guys, it's free. Unlike your Disney Plus subscription, which you pay for Loki, you can get this great analysis, conversation, lively, chat for free. Just click the red button. That's all we're asking.
I'm going to clip that and put that at the beginning of all my videos.
That was a great pitch.
But yeah, let's get into some of these. And guys, put your chats in there. Let us know what you're thinking. Give us your theories. After we take some of your guys' questions, we're going to get into our theories. We're going to get into our predictions for episode 2 as well. Well, Sasha is. I don't want to give anything away. And then, yeah, so put your theories in the chat. Let us know what you thought, and let's get into it. Let's talk to some people. Okay. We got 123 Rock Fan. For some reason, the tone reminded me a bit of Wally. I could see it a little bit. I could see it a little bit. I think that makes a little bit of sense. Scott, who has a lot, so we're going to get into them. I'm going to predict even before the season finishes, I can imagine this show is getting a second season. It definitely is set up to be a time travel detective action drama story. I do feel it could get one.
Yes.
I completely agree with that. I think we may get more than one season. I think the potential here is literally endless. I truly believe
I have a prediction, and this doesn't really apply to like any specific episode, so I'll say it now. My prediction is that I don't know that we ever see Loki in the cinematic movies again. I think he stays in the TV show, and it's already been not confirmed, but explored a little bit with some of the producers that they're very open to doing second seasons, and Marvel along the line's gonna have to do a multi-season show. They can't just keep doing limited series. This is the perfect one to do it with, in my opinion, especially if they're not going to do a Jimmy Woo, Darcy detective show. Jack, you're excited. Do you agree?
This was going to be one of my theories. I think he stays with the TVA. I think he joins the TVA. I think this is him. I think the potential, you definitely could show up in the movies. You could. Like Doctor Strange is like doing something.
That's true.
And then it ends, and then you behind him a thing pops up, and Loki and Owen Wilson walk out, and they're like, "Hey, we're the TVA. We got to fix this thing." You definitely could. You definitely could. I think he stays with the TVA because if he goes back, he can't go back. That's the barrier. He can't go back unless he talks to the timekeepers, which he very well could, and they change the sacred timeline. I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's going to stay with the TVA because if he doesn't, he can't go anywhere. There's nowhere he can go. So, see, great minds think alike. I mean, that's absolutely fantastic. The Avengers and half the universe getting dust out of existence. The TVA and Eternals not interfering with the universe, which is in flames. Okay. For half of that, the TVA is not supposed to interfere.
That's true.
I just want to, the TVA is not supposed to interfere. That was supposed to happen on the sacred timeline. If that was not supposed to happen, if Thanos was pulling a fast one on the timekeepers or time watchers, I forget what they're, if Thanos was trying to pull a fast one, they would have stepped in and stopped it.
Yeah,
that I think was supposed to happen. Yeah.
I think the thing that people are maybe not yet, time travel is confusing, but I think with the TVA, what's not being wrapped around, the TVA is neither really good or bad. Like Loki says, they're bureaucrats that operate the flow of time. They make sure, like the Men in Black, they show up with their forget about it reset thing, fix things that are wrong, but they don't operate like the Avengers. The Avengers fight bad things, okay? But maybe there's parts in the timeline that we've never seen that the Avengers didn't interfere with something because they weren't supposed to, or like the TVA resets it so they never were there. Like you see what I'm saying? Like the TVA is not a inherently good organization the way the Avengers are. They are seeking to have things happen as they're supposed to, good and bad. They're not like, no, the Eternals, I see where this person is getting at. I see where you're getting at, Scott. And I think that's where TVA plays in with the Eternals of like sacred timeline. The Eternals have been around since the beginning. Maybe they know the timekeepers. Timekeepers like, yo, Eternals, don't like do anything, please. They're like, okay, I guess we got to.
Probably, you know what? They may explore that. I think that's a good point. That will be covered. I already made a video about this. I want to get in depth about it. That will be covered. It will say why. Like that'll be covered. Everyone take a chill pill. Here come the TVA. All right. Loki smiling when seeing his relationship with Thor having grown to a situation of brothers had me tearing up. Hiddleston really hit it out the park with that kind of quiet, raw performance. Again, yes. I mean,
you know what I think's really interesting about that smile, though? Right after that, Loki like sends the people on the Ragnarok world on Thor. Like they have that chat. Maybe I'm remembering it, and maybe it's from a wrong part. But I thought there was a part in Ragnarok where like Loki tries to, when they do the get help, and then they're about to escape. I thought that's when that scene happened, or does that happen at the end when they're on the new Asgard ship?
I think I know what you're talking about. I don't remember. I'd have to go back and watch the movie.
Okay,
but if I remember correctly, it's like him like, yo, I need help or whatever. But then it's like him just like I think he beats them up and then like takes their ship. I think. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I have to look. I don't remember.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean that's great. Like seeing him go from emotion to emotion, like
so
he's
powerful.
sad with Anthony Hopkins, and then he gets, he kind of perks up a little bit seeing like the conversation with Thor, and then he gets there and he like he's like, what is the, like when he gets to him dying to Thanos, it's just incredible. Do you think it's a little too zany that one of the characters doesn't even know what a fish is? No, I don't think it's zany at all. I think that kind of sets up that these people aren't really real. Like Loki says, you're a figment of my imagination. And they're not really, but they kind of are, because they're just kind of there. They were made by the timekeepers. They are not real people. They're just kind of entities that are there.
Well, Casey even said, I've only ever worked this job. Like in the idea of like, if he wasn't a robot, per se, like he's a real flesh and blood human being or something, but he could be this 26-year-old receptionist at the TVA for 40 million years.
For the entirety of time. Yeah.
Yeah. And like he never ages, so.
Yeah. I've seen theories that with the TVA's explanation of the multiverse war, if another was to happen, it could set up a future Secret Wars film that basically restart the MCU. I wouldn't be shocked. Either. I have theories about this. We'll get into them in our theory section. But I think that this is going to set up a lot. And they even said, like in some interviews that have come out, they said that this, like I think even Kevin Feige said, like this show is going to really affect like the MCU more than any of the other shows have. The Hiddleston Midnight in Paris about the Infinity Stones. I think it's important to make them less important to continue the MCU. What can top the ever powerful Thanos and Infinity Stones? Saying it's the most powerful ever. Saying it's not the most powerful ever. Yes, that makes sense. I think what needs to happen is everyone just needs to realize that they're gone.
Yeah.
Because they are. When Steve Rogers puts them back, they're
the only place they end up is when they get destroyed by Tony.
Is when they're destroyed by... Well, yeah, but then Tony takes them back, or Steve takes those stones back that they got in the time heist.
Right, so it's a loop.
And so now we're just... Thanos... When we're back where we are, Thanos has destroyed the stones, and they're no more. So they're gone. And Thanos is gone. So, and there's more powerful beings out there that we haven't seen yet. Galactus.
But I agree. I do think this was the best way to handle it, because I've been thinking a lot about, okay, where does this go in 20 years? Jack and I talked about this a little bit before we got on stream. Like, what is the future of this? What is their plan? I know they have one. Where is it headed? And I think the best thing to address, instead of just being like, it's bigger, it's badder, like Syndrome, like we've got a brand new, like big bad, instead of just say like, there are beings who you have never encountered because it was intentional that can disable what you thought, you puny humans thought was the most powerful thing in the universe. Wrong. Like we've got ways to deal with that. We've been dealing with it since the beginning of time, since they were created. So I agree with you, Marvel Studio. Whoa, I can't say that. I love that name though. Marvel Studio Whoa. I really love the way that they handled that. I think it was very smart. And if it's the most important thing for the MCU, like going forward with these TV shows, like I think that was a great way to handle it.
Yeah, still hate it, but Scott, did anyone catch, I saw this earlier today, did anyone catch when Loki first escaped the room from Mobius, that when he landed in the hall and one of the Minutemen was detaining a person, it looked like an awful lot like Peggy Carter? Timeline break? I don't know.
She just kind of has a 50s, I don't want to burst anyone's bubble.
50s
she kind of has a 50s aesthetic, and that's definitely not Haley Atwell. Like, I'm sorry, that's not her.
And people back then were rocking that hairstyle. It's not just her.
Right. But to me, if anyone was going to break the timeline, Steve. It would be Peggy Carter. Or Steve slipping something to Peggy.
People were arguing. They're like, oh, it's because she ended up marrying Steve. No, because she stayed in the timeline properly. It would be Steve that would be in trouble if you thought about it.
Yeah, it wouldn't be her.
Steve, because he's screwing with the timeline. But
no, but again, I do think in the sense of her being one of them. I don't know how many people have watched the Agent Carter show. I know it doesn't have that much bearing on stuff, but it's a good like exploration of her character a little bit. Not as good as these new shows, but she is definitely troublesome. She's trying to figure out the Infinity Stones post First Avenger, Captain America First Avenger in that series, and so or Infinity Stone like things, and so if it was her, which I definitely don't think that was like an Easter egg put in by Marvel, but say it was, who cares? Like it gets fixed. Like Peggy Carter doesn't get zapped out of existence. They're probably just like wipe your memory, Men in Black style, go back to Steve. Like
the TVA.
Okay. They need a theme song. They really do.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. We just haven't heard it yet. Marvel about to make a therapy squad film starring Loki, Buck, and Wanda because damn, they got hella issues. Yes, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. I love
that. That's great.
Here's my question, Ricardo. I know you have questions because we were talking in the earlier today. If the Avengers were supposed to time travel, weren't they not supposed to travel to 1970? Because if they did, that isn't Loki's escape. Then isn't Loki's escape also given? That's a tough one. All I will say is that the stone was returned.
Yeah.
So it's not like they took the stone and didn't bring it back. The one variable from that drastically changed and has not been fixed is Loki leaving, which we are now examining in this show. Yeah. That is the one variable that was not put back to normal. So them going back to 1970, while yes, that does make sense, they took it back. They took the stone back like they did the other ones, and nothing changed. Mm-hmm. So I like the thought. I love talking about this like this. But again,
that is a good thought. But if you do think about anytime a stone is taken and goes into, like, if the timeline is horizontal, if you go vertical when you take the stone into a new timeline, but then you like return it, it's like a U-turn. Mm-hmm. So it's like it and then it erases itself once it's returned because then it never
nothing happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
In reality, nothing happened.
But like you said, the only stone that was not able to be, there's 2 Tesseracts in Endgame. There's 2012 Tesseract, which was taken by Loki out of the timeline, never been returned. And then there is
1970s Tesseract.
1970, yeah.
And that one was put back. So
right.
No one did anything wrong because it didn't happen. Scott, I think it would ultimately be obvious for me for Mobius to turn on Loki when he ultimately gets what he needs, but something obvious isn't bad. I don't think we fully know what his agenda is at all. Yeah, but I don't think so. I genuinely don't think so. I don't think Mobius would stick his neck out for Loki like that.
Yeah.
I don't think he would.
If anyone's going to get screwed over in this, it's not going to be Loki. It's going to be Mobius.
It would probably be Mobius because, look, we think Loki is taking a turn for better, but he is also the god of mischief. He could be fooling all of us.
He's done this to us before.
He could be fooling all of us. So
the only thing we get that's an indication that he has changed is we get a moment alone with him.
Yeah.
He's not, like, unless they break the fourth wall somewhere in the series, which I would love if they did, but unless they break the fourth wall at some point and have him be like, you suckers, you thought I was crying back there. Like, I wasn't. That's the one moment we get to see him without anyone else. He's not putting up a shield to anyone else. We see how he genuinely reacted in that situation. So unless he's chosen when Mobius comes back in the room to be like, I'm going to get you to trust me and then mess you up, like, I trust Mobius. I could be wrong. I'll be on here episode 6 if I was wrong, and I'll say it loud and proud. But right now, I think Mobius is trustworthy.
I think so too. I think the Lady Loki variant is key for something that Mobius needs. Screw it. I think he's going to turn on Loki by the end, and we won't see it coming. Look, if you're right, you're
I have
right,
a theory about
and I'll come on. If you're right, sorry to interrupt. If you're right, you're right. We'll come on here and we'll say, hey, Scott, you were right. Don't think it's going to happen. if anyone is 10 steps ahead, it's already Loki. Even though he doesn't know what's fully going on, I think he's already 10 steps ahead.
Yeah. I have a theory about Lady Loki. We'll get to it in our respective section for theories, but I have a theory about her that differs a little bit from this, Scott. So,
yeah. Am I the only one who is in love with the score? I felt like no one is talking about the score and how beautiful it is. No, you're not. I love the score.
Good.
The score's fantastic.
It was good. It was fantastic. I think what I love to see, now that I don't love Hans Zimmer or any of the other great composers, but I think with Ludwig Göransson from between Tenet and Mando, and now with this, we are getting incredible.
Did Ludwig do this?
No, Mandalorian. He did Mandalorian.
Oh, I thought.
And it was in the credits, but I don't remember who the woman was who did the composition for the music in this. But it is fantastic.
He also did Black Panther as well. Ludwig Göransson did too.
Yes. Mm-hmm. He and Ryan Coogler. He and Ryan Coogler were college roommates.
Yes, I did know that. And he won an Oscar for that score, by the way, as well, which is incredible to think that a superhero movie won an Oscar for best score, but it did.
Deserved it.
It's damn good. It gets me pumped. Max Talks Movies. What's up, man? Hello there, Jack and Sasha. You might have already addressed this, but what did you think about the DB Cooper thing? We talked about it, but hey, man, I'll answer it for you again. Freaking loved it. Loved how it was executed. I love the fact that it was a bet between him and Heimdall and Thor. That just have that little breadcrumb in there, just to mention Thor. It just is awesome. I love that part.
It was great. The composer is Natalie Holt. She did the music for Loki.
And she killed it. It's awesome. So I'm going to give you guys a few more minutes. Get your comments in. If we don't get any comments, we're going to go on to the theories. And boy, have we got some theories to talk about. I think this will be another cut in my channel too. So if you have to go or anything, this will be a separate video coming out in the next week or so. But get your comments in. Let's talk a little bit more before we get into theories. We're going to be here for a little bit longer. We're not going anywhere anytime quick. So, Scott, I do feel like this is the best world building the MCU has done in quite a long time. I love how with WandaVision, the intro was Sword, and Loki with the TVA. We're definitely in a new era of the MCU. Completely agree. Best world building in quite some time. Yes. And I think the reason why is because the world has been built for us for a while.
Yeah.
We knew the world. We just needed to see how it was going to go. So I do definitely agree with that. Sasha, what are your thoughts? I mean, I love the world building.
Yeah. I mean, I think with anything that's more ground level MCU, like Falcon and Winter Soldier, they can go to any real or imagined country, usually in Eastern Europe, and like you just kind of expect that. So it's not that it's not interesting to see how people there react to the Avengers or Zemo or anything like that. But it's or somewhere like Madripoor. Am I saying that right? I've said that wrong in every time okay. In Madripoor, I thought like that's brilliant, but we're barely there. Whereas the TVA is both an organization. We have a specific character attached to it with Mobius, and then the Hunter B-15 and the Judge lady. But in addition to all that, like it feels like its own unique place. Like you said this earlier, Jack. I don't get the impression that just anyone can show up in this show. Now, if we go to somewhere, I'm open to that, like totally open. But like like you were saying with WandaVision being a hex, a specific place in New Jersey, anyone can come in. Or with Falcon and Winter Soldier, I mean, Julia Louis-Dreyfus just sneaked up under our nose and punched us in the face and was like, "I'm here, hello," like,
hi.
Like I'm a new character now, you know. And I feel like in this show, not that there won't be surprises or things won't be interesting, but I feel very secure in this new world, and it feels very established, lived in, like we spoke about earlier. So I definitely agree that I think it is great world building because we already feel comfortable in it. Yeah. Like Jack was saying, we've explored other places before. This is completely new, but we feel good about it.
Absolutely. Max again said, I think it'd be cool if every episode they solve some famous unsolved mystery with it being Loki. I do think that's cool. Do I think they'll do that? No, I think that was kind of just a setting up the world and kind of Loki and stuff. That would be awesome. I'd love maybe do like a mini series or something where you do like 10-minute shorts or something.
Yeah.
Of like unsolved, like maybe it's like a film room something, and it's like Owen Wilson watching back old film of Loki, like doing these unsolved like that would be so Marvel. Kevin Feige, hire me, please.
I know, we're developing ideas for him. He should be paying us. Or it could be like when Steve shows up in Homecoming and he's filmed all those like physical fitness where you're in detention and like da-da-da. Like if they did that with Mobius but with Loki. Be like, so that guy, that was Loki too. That guy, that was Loki too. Like I would love that. But I also don't want it to become I don't really want it to become too much of a gag. I don't want it to be overused. But I would love if that was just thrown at us every few episodes and we didn't see it coming.
Yeah. Chances we get a new Loki suit come the finale. It's a huge common trope with the previous 2 MCU shows thus far to do that, but I don't know if Loki calls for a new suit really. He will. You know what it is? It's
his TVA uniform.
It's a new TVA uniform because he's joining the TVA.
His tie and his high-waisted pants and his TVA blazer. Like, I mean, that's what we haven't seen yet. And I agree. Like, I don't think it calls for an Asgardian suit. I mean, that doesn't really fit in with this series anyways. And I also, like, I don't know. Yeah, it'll be the TVA suit. And that'll be his new look.
If any Loki-related character was to show up from the films, who do you think could fit in the show? There's a rumor that Sif could make an appearance, apparently. Maybe. I don't really want anybody. I think that the cameos that we got in the first episode are enough. Genuinely.
I don't want it to become, I mean, this is Loki's shining moment. We've been building up to this for 11 years. Personally, I don't need anyone else but Loki and Owen Wilson. Like, we already have a character pretty much everyone seems to love. Like, I haven't seen anyone be like, I don't like Owen Wilson in this. So I don't know that I don't want it to become the Thor show. Or like with everyone but Thor, you know?
I think in certain shows you can have cameos, like in Falcon and Winter Soldier, War Machine, you know, Don Cheadle shows up a few times.
Perfect.
That's cool. But in a show like this where it is really kind of contained, it's more contained than the first 2 shows, like we have already discussed. I don't think you need to. Leave it contained. Leave it contained. Mm-hmm. I don't think you need to. Is it a good idea? I mean, cool. Yeah, you'll get a little bit of hype, but I don't. In my personal opinion, leave it contained. That's what I would say. Do you think the production of the show was affected by COVID, like WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier? Yes. I mean, I think the report last week came out that Mission Impossible just had to shut down for 2 weeks because of COVID still. Yeah. So I would assume so.
I think my only prediction for this, and I only say this because the only indication I've seen in a report that like any sort of COVID affected this was one of the latest behind the scenes thing. It came out probably 2 days ago, and it's Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston talking to the camera about like Loki and what they're excited and saying, oh, this show's going to explore different tones and genres and whatever. I think there's a couple of crew members wearing masks, but if you've watched the assembled making of WandaVision or assembled making of Falcon and Winter Soldier. In Falcon and Winter Soldier, they talk about like the 2 weeks where they were supposed to be traveling to Puerto Rico to film, and then that got canceled, and then they were supposed to be going somewhere else, and then they had to cancel because of COVID. In this, my guess is that they may have finished things in time, just because of how much post-production this show seems to have required. Like, WandaVision finished before, or like right around COVID. And was delayed because of the release schedules and things like that. But I don't think the production was affected. I would predict that this was maybe filmed even pre-WandaVision. That would be my prediction. But I am desperate, Max, for like a outline of how things were supposed to release before the pandemic, what the production schedules were like during pandemic, and then how things are coming out now to compare. Because just for story information, I'm just interested to see. Obviously, Falcon and Winter Soldier was supposed to be our first thing. We get WandaVision instead, with the movie that's supposed to be attached to it a year. So, like, I want to know what things got affected, and I think those 3 timelines are very telling to like why and when certain things came out when they did. Because I know WandaVision came out first because they were done with it, whereas Falcon and Winter Soldier, they weren't.
Yeah, I love how after Loki is finished, we really don't know what show comes next. I would imagine Hawkeye, but What If has been worked on for years, and I do hope that show has more importance than we believe. It's going to be What If. It's already been announced coming out like August.
Yeah.
it's going to be What If. What If is going to be the next show, and then Hawkeye is going to be sometime in the fall. So
yeah.
But sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Okay, I'll have someone else go. My prediction for Hawkeye, which is my most anticipated series after Loki. I'm super stoked for that. My prediction is for for Hawkeye, since we already know Yelena Belova from Black Widow is going to be appearing at some point, cameo or whatever, in Hawkeye, the series, that we're not going to get any promo for Hawkeye until after Black Widow, which to me at that point, just wait till Loki's done to start promoting the next thing, especially because What If is going to take precedence in that time for marketing. I think What If will be exciting because, again, we'll be exposed to this new entity of what is the Watcher, getting to see all these different aspects. We'll get to explore different multiverse things, but I don't think it will have importance in the same way Loki does, in the sense that it's all imagined scenarios. Like, it's not actually maybe stuff we'll see come to fruition, unless they're using this as like a test of like, oh, what do people feel about this, and then changing it into something later down the line. But I think, yeah, What If is next. Then I wouldn't be surprised even if Miss Marvel comes out before Hawkeye, because Hawkeye has some Christmas scenes. So to me, it'd be strategic to release that a little bit closer to then, maybe, but I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, I agree. I don't think What If is going to have any. It's not going to change anything. It's not, because it literally, in the comics, this was a comic book run, and it was like, what if this happened? Like, it's not actually going to happen. It's just like a what if. Like, what if T'Challa was Star-Lord? Like, what if what if Peggy Carter took the Super Soldier Serum? So it's just kind of fun. It's not going to be anything that's canon or anything like that. It's just going to be like fun. Let's bring the characters back with their voices and just see some wacky, wacky stuff, which it's going to be Chadwick Boseman's last time doing anything, because he did do the voice recording, and that's going to be it, which is very sad, but it'll be fun. It'll just be fun. It'll be fun. I'm going to hit Scott first. I'm going to hit Max, because this is going to lead right into our theories section. Yeah. Moon Knight is my most anticipated series after Loki. It's going to be Game Changer. It's my most anticipated as well. Oscar Isaac and Ethan Hawke. That's all I need to say.
I'm excited.
All right. Do you think Loki will lead into No Way Home or directly into Multiverse of Madness? Let's get into our theories section, everybody. And I will start because this is one of the theories that I have. So we're going to get into theories just based off the first episode. And look, I know I'm being kind of a hypocrite right now, because I said during WandaVision, I don't like the theories. I don't like that, blah, 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 blah. But we talked about this. This isn't theories of people that are going to show up. It's not like, oh my God, Tobey Maguire is going to show up as Spider. No, this is like what's going to happen in the show, how it's going to affect the timeline of the MCU. So I'm not being hypocrite. It's two very different things. Okay. So the first theory, we will talk about where we go after. That's the first theory we'll start with. This is my theory. And I don't know, Sasha, if you'll agree or not, but I will lay it out and then I will get your thoughts.
Okay.
Loki is going to lead directly into the Multiverse of Madness. Directly. I believe what's going to happen, I don't think they succeed. I don't think they succeed in the end. I think in the end, we're going to have a bunch of branches, because we see in the trailer that a bunch of branches start on like one of those monitors. I think we're going to hit past that red. And I think madness is going to ensue. And they said, we have one timeline. If we get past that line, then a multiverse comes back. This is how the multiverse is going to form. They're not going to succeed. They're going to fail. And the multiverse is going to form. And it's going to lead directly into Doctor Strange. We may even get because in the first episode, we see from Endgame, the Loki scene from Endgame, and then we may get at the beginning of Doctor Strange, whatever the end scene is of Loki. And then Loki kind of shows up and they're like, bro, we got to fix this. And then hear me out. And then we see the post-credit scene from WandaVision. And then right after she hears the kids or whatever, then you see a portal and Doctor Strange and Loki walk through or something. I don't know if Loki will, but that's going to happen. And there was No Way Home. I think this is a theory. I don't know this for sure. I think No Way Home happens simultaneously with Multiverse of Madness. I would go out and say, I think it is happening simultaneously. So that's just my theory. Sasha, I will get your thoughts. What do you think about this theory?
So mine are pretty similar to yours. They differ a little bit. I agree. I think that this has direct implications to Multiverse of Madness, but I don't think Loki shows up in Multiverse of Madness. And the only reason I say that is because, do you want to go ahead, Jack?
I was just going to clarify. Yes, I don't think he's in the movie. I think it is Wanda and Doctor Strange. I'm sorry. I know it. I got a little carried away there.
You're good. I just wanted to clarify.
Like I said, at the end, I think he stays with the TVA. I think. But carry on.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if the last shot of this series, and I think it'd be good, like if something happens. I agree. I think a no success verdict seems likely at this point, unless they're so focused on this situation and then maybe something else pops up where it's like it wasn't that the whole time, and now we have something else going into the multiverse. I would be interested to see if there's references to Wanda in this show. I don't know yet, because I don't know. Time passes differently in the TVA.
Different in the TVA.
Right, exactly. So I don't know if this is WandaVision was like 6 weeks after Endgame or something, like some
release a full timeline.
Yeah, exactly. They need to help us out. The least they could do would be that. That's one thing I give Star Wars is like, y'all have down to the year, like when things happen. Marvel is a little bit questionable, but I think I wouldn't be even surprised if we get to the end, they defeat whoever is the Loki variant that they're trying to fight, and they look at that thing and they see the timeline go back, and then something shoots back up and it goes into multiverse. So almost like, not to discredit any of the work that they're doing in this season or episode or series, whatever, but I do think it ends in a multiverse. I think it ties directly into Doctor Strange. I think that's where this is. The WandaVision and Doctor Strange are exactly like, they tie directly into each other. That's a little bit of a red herring. Not that it's not true, because in that end credit scene, I 100% agree. Wanda is experimenting with her powers, which will come in handy for Doctor Strange. Whether she's the villain, whether she teams up with Doctor Strange, I'm still not sure about that yet, or how I have my brain wrapped around. I do think, though, that the things that happen in Loki will directly impact what occurs in Multiverse of Madness, because I even made the joke at the end of my video today. Like, I feel like Doctor Strange has got to know the TVA exists, right? Like, maybe they don't interfere, but he's got to have there's these other guys that are like super helping me out, like as timekeepers and whatever. Like, he's got to know. So I think, yes, my prediction would be this directly plays into Multiverse of Madness. Loki and the TVA and Mobius will not be in Multiverse of Madness, but maybe the events of Multiverse of Madness will be referenced in this series, because we don't know how time is working. And I wouldn't be surprised if No Way Home occurs at the same time. I'm still not sure, though, if I truly think that No Way Home's going to explore the multiverse. Part of me doesn't want to get my hopes up about it if it doesn't come to pass. Part of me just doesn't know. Like, I just don't want to like sell myself on that, but I wouldn't be surprised if this does occur at the same time as Multiverse of Madness. I think that would be super cool if it did.
Yeah.
I just don't know.
The reason why I think that is because it's been confirmed, at least by Alfred Molina, that he is coming back as his Raimi Doc Ock.
Okay.
Like, it's been confirmed by him. Probably said a little too much in the interview, but it's pretty much been confirmed, like, that he's going to be de-aged and things like that. If we are on just one sacred timeline, how are they going to get here? How are they going to get here? Jamie Foxx is Electro. Like, if Maguire and Garfield are supposed to show up, I don't personally know if they will. It may still be a long shot, but if they are, how do they get here? If there's only one sacred timeline, that means there's only one Spider-Man. So how does that happen? So that's the only reason why I think that it's going to happen simultaneously. What I do think would happen, and I've branched out a new theory now as we've just talked about this. What I think what happens is we start off Multiverse of Madness with Wanda in that post-credit scene, and she goes to Doctor Strange and says, "Hey, I heard my kid. I need you to help me." And as they are there, then it happens. Whatever happens. And they have to, I don't think Wanda will be the villain. I think they got to team up and fix whatever it is. But in that, also, if I'm thinking branched out realities, maybe she's hearing the kid from one of those branched out realities, and they're like, I want to go get my kid.
Yeah.
So that's a new theory I just came up with. I think that might pass. Again, I don't know.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that may be what it is. I don't buy Wanda being the villain, and I also don't buy that she is going to be the reason why the multiverse is. I don't. Yeah. Now that we have the world building of the TVA in just this first episode, those theories, I would go out on a limb and say those theories are all dead. I would say. I don't think that, like, they literally said in this, they were like, oh, it could go to a multiverse, and if that happens, it's madness.
Yeah, like, oh, okay, guys.
They're literally like literally right in our faces. Like,
they are, which I think makes sense even for this show to be the place that we get that information, because it's the mischievous, like, winky face, like, letting you into information and showing you what's really going on behind the curtain, behind the scenes, sort of situation. And I agree. I think especially too, which a lot of people who are diehard MCU fans maybe haven't thought about, come Multiverse of Madness after this year, we're gonna start to go back to people going to movie theaters to just go see movies who don't have Disney Plus or don't watch the shows. And so to me, the only way Wanda makes sense as a villain is knowing that, okay, she trapped this whole town. She kind of accidentally hurt everyone. It was grief, but it happens. But if you don't have that information, you just go from, oh, Vision died, to now she's the bad guy? What the heck? Like, I thought they made a show about her.
Yeah.
For people who haven't seen the shows, that doesn't make any sense. So I rescind me even putting that out there. I don't think that happens unless there's a Wanda in the multiverse that is evil. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sorry, I apologize for interrupting.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
And at the end of WandaVision, when she's leaving the town, she feels bad.
Yeah, she secludes herself isolates herself because she feels bad. She's lost everything she has to feel good about. She doesn't want to be seen as a bad guy, so she leaves. She tries to fix everything and leaves.
Yeah, so I don't buy that. And your point about movie theaters and moviegoers makes perfect sense. I don't buy that. I think, yeah, she's practicing with dark magic, as we saw in the post-credit scene, but not everyone has to go bad with the dark magic. You can control it. Like, I'm sure Doctor Strange knows some of that stuff. Obviously, he does. I don't think he has access to chaos magic, because that's Wanda. That's what
Wanda's thing.
That's her thing. But I'm sure Doctor Strange knows about this type of stuff. So, and he's not bad. So that's just with me. Is Mephisto gonna be in this show? No.
Oh boy. I don't think so either. I think that was a very, when the little girl points at the devil in the church window, I was like, Mephisto? But like,
people are gonna freak out.
But I think, like, I mean, Loki is a shapeshifter. Even if we want to go that far, he could shapeshift, or this variant of Loki could shapeshift into Mephisto, but I don't know. I feel like Mephisto, like you said, a lot of the WandaVision rumors or theories are dying very quickly with Loki, because we're seeing the actual lay of the land here. And I don't know. I don't feel like Mephisto. I don't know. I don't think he shows up. No.
I don't either. I don't. Look, I've heard things about, like, our world, like with China and things like that, where you can't, like, show stuff like that just because of things like that. So I don't think it would be smart for Marvel from a business standpoint to do that, because then you wouldn't be able to show the movies or anything to, like, one of the biggest box office getters. Like, literally Fast 9's already surpassed like $250 million box office just from, like, China and some of the places it's been playing already. It hasn't even opened in the US yet.
You got to be honest with yourself. Like, I mean, anyone that watches American blockbusters, those movies are made, and people complain about it a lot with, like, certain things that Disney tries to put in the movies to be more progressive for people in the United States. Those are made very small for a particular reason. They want to make money abroad, and those scenes can then be cut. If you have the main bad guy of a TV series or of a movie be, like, the devil,
or something that you cannot show in one of the biggest markets.
You can't. That's not going to happen.
Can't do that.
It's I think he made sense potentially for WandaVision. I don't think he makes sense here. I think that was a little bit of, like, probably included because it was like, I mean, like she's just the little girl like only recognizes evil as like, that's what she's trying to say is like it was an evil person, it was a bad, right? Obviously that's her closest like reference, but I definitely no, I don't think that's a Mephisto reference.
Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, people are going to freak out. So that, and I
the WandaVision stands are getting out of bed this morning, and
I'm pretty sure it was Mephisto was trending this morning again from something I had seen on Twitter. I'm like, oh god, here we go again, guys.
He's not even in some of the top 10 lists for the next big bad for that. Like people have speculated online. If he is, he's the bottom of the list. So I'm sorry, WandaVision stands. I don't think that's Mephisto.
Yeah, sorry, you talkers and tweeters. It ain't What other theories do you got? I'm trying to think in my head, but what do you got? You said you had one on Lady Loki. What about that?
So my initial thought, which has come to be I didn't know who the voice actress was of Miss Minutes, and I kind of had in my own head like, oh, would it be cool if this whole time like Lady Loki has shapeshifted into an animated clock and then, like been hiding, but because it's not the same voice, I guess it could be ultimately.
Well, we haven't
but that was kind
Loki
of
yet, so we don't know.
Right. That was kind of my like joking one I had with myself, just because Miss Minutes was like kind of given prominence on the poster in a way that was like, why is there an animated clock? But I think now it makes sense. And if that's all we see of Miss Minutes, I really like her as a character, but I think she served her purpose. But I also think that would be so cool if like another little Agatha all along moment of like, it was Miss Minutes. Like,
oh my God,
that would be funny. But my real theory about Lady Loki, which I said before in my review, is not necessarily super original. I think the variant of Loki that Mobius is hunting is Lady Loki. To me, that makes sense. Also, I wrote an article about this. It was trending on Twitter. There was a marketing thing that came out, I believe it was yesterday or Monday, for Loki, and it said POV, you work at the TVA and you're like looking through Loki's case file or whatever, and it's this like desk thing, and you see his case file, and you actually saw it in the episode,
the gender fluid thing,
and it says that his sex is fluid. And to me, obviously they know this. If he's a shapeshifter, it could be as simple of an explanation as that. But what would be even cooler is if somehow Mobius has confirmation that the Loki variant that's existing in the timeline that is mass killing people is Lady Loki, and that's how he knows. Now, if we I don't know specifics about Lady Loki. I will admit that. A lot of people gave me comments after my trailer reaction that that it's not Natasha, it's Lady Loki and all this kind of stuff. And I have to be honest, I don't know much about her. I don't know if she is another version of Loki. I don't know if she's Loki shape-shifting into a female form. I need to do research. I'll be honest, I have to do my research on that. But I feel like she's the big bad of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I like the theory. I mean, I don't know a lot about Lady Loki. I went into this not really remembering a lot about what it is. I just kind of remembered Loki, Owen Wilson after Endgame. That's kind of all I remember.
Yeah.
So like to read back up on some of this
timeline hopping.
Yeah, Lady Loki's totally a thing. So that's kind of cool. Any other theories? I think I'm pretty tapped out on mine. Those were kind of the biggest ones that kind of stood out to me.
I'm trying to think if I have any more. I mean, I guess I because I want future seasons of this show, to me, this is the first one, with the exception of Falcon and Winter Soldier, because I think that could be a series that just kind of like they do kind of the same things. Yeah, I don't want to be disparaging to it, but like I could see that being a run of the mill. Like they change it up every season or something, where they explore more before they really get stuff solidified for a movie. But I also kind of feel like we won't see them for a while regardless. But I feel like Loki is the first time that not only do we semi have hints from Marvel that it will be multi-season, but it feels like it could be that kind of show, with the comparisons to X-Files and detective shows and all that kind of stuff that people have said. I think Loki, like you said, he becomes a TVA employee or worker or detective or something, because he doesn't ever have to really face death. He gets to be mischievous by nature. Like what they're kind of doing is fun. They have a sense of power and control. So for him to not fundamentally change as a character, still be, like Loki, I think it makes sense for him to stay there. And I don't really want him to go, haha, I got you, and like now I'm evil again and I'm just gonna pop up in Thor films. I don't really want that. Just because I feel like it'll be, I don't want to say cheap, because I love the character, so I'm never gonna complain about seeing him. But my theory is that he stays in the TVA, and he stays specifically on Disney Plus shows, with the exception of a cameo or Easter eggs elsewhere.
Yep.
That's my theory.
Completely echo. He stays with the TVA. He's kind of backed into a corner. He can't really leave. If he does, he's going to get pulverized.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think he may show up. Like I'd love it, because I don't think they bring in Owen Wilson just to be in one series of a show. I think he may show up in some movies. You may, see the TVA showing up and stuff. So we'll get some cameos and stuff. That was the one I wanted to echo before we finish this segment, because we hadn't talked about it in the segment. If I'm going to cut it for YouTube, I wanted to have that in there. But yeah, he definitely stays with the TVA. I think this is like the first like Mando, like where we can just every year really we could have another season. Like, okay,
yeah,
like we could really keep going. But yeah, I love this show. Guys, put in the comments if you're here on the live, or no, put in the comments if you're watching the video. What are your theories? I want to know. Let me know down below, and we'll talk about them and answer them. But that is the end of our theories segment. Again, at the end of every segment, I'm pushing subscribe to the channel, subscribe to Fanatic Films. We're almost to 700 subscribers. If you are here and you are new and you like the content,
it's just down below.
That big red button, y'all, because we're here every week. We're going to be here every week. This is the first of 6. And then after that, who knows? Maybe we'll do Hawkeye or Moon Knight or whatever, something, maybe. Who knows? Time permitting. But we are here for Loki. We're doing it. If you've not already, please consider subscribing. But let's get back to the chat. Let's see what people got to say. So Reagan talks about movies. Hey, just joined. Not done with the first episode, but it was good overall. Love the content, Jack. Thank you. And Sasha is here as well. She is doing fantastic as well. The coin lady is so annoying, LOL. I love Miss Minutes.
I love Miss Minutes. I think she's cute. I think she's, I don't know. I made this reference. There was a style of animation. There was an animation company called UPA. And this feels like a very combined version, like the style of animation of UPA, which is like 60s, 70s, so fits the vibe of the TVA, but also like earlier Cartoon Network, like 90s, 2000s, like very much reminded me of like the Powerpuff Girls intro, where he's like throwing stuff in a bowl and stuff, which is cool. And Michael Waldron, the writer of the series, actually worked on Rick and Morty, so I thought that was cool that a little bit of animation got to be included.
Yeah.
So I like Miss Minutes. Sorry to anyone that doesn't like her. She's adorable.
She's great. Ricardo, Sean Chandler in his video says he thinks the events of Loki messes with the sacred timeline and ruin it, bringing back the alternate timelines again, which Doctor Strange has to deal with in this movie. Completely echo what Sean Chandler says. Talked about in the theories. It's going to happen. 100%. Yeah. So far, I think Loki's okay. WandaVision is better for me. Hey, personal preference. I like Loki more.
I'm waiting. Sorry, go ahead, Jack.
No, go ahead.
Okay, I was going to say WandaVision. I've said a couple times that I wanted to I want to rewatch WandaVision when it's all out, and I've just never gone around to it. Since it's probably only a couple hours of my time, I probably will end up rewatching it while I wait for Loki episodes. If my order had to go this way, and this is no hate, there's still 3 great shows. And again, it's Marvel content, but my top right now is Loki. Obviously, that can change. I've only got 1 episode, and I'm extremely biased because of the character and Owen Wilson. Like, I'll be honest, that's what I appreciate about it. Then WandaVision, just because I genuinely do enjoy the sitcom aspect, and to me, like, that alone is just fun experimentation. And also the previously on episode of WandaVision, I think because it's sandwiched between, it was Agatha all along and the final fight episode, I think it gets forgotten a little bit, but I think getting to revisit Wanda's past a little bit is super interesting. And then my bottom is Falcon and Winter Soldier, not because I don't like it, guys. Like, I feel like I have to stress this because I'm probably going to say this a lot in the next coming weeks. I really liked Falcon and Winter Soldier. I really like ground level MCU. I think US Agent is fantastic addition as a character. I can't wait to see where Julia Louis-Dreyfus pops up. I've been watching Veep all weekend. I am obsessed with her. Like, from Seinfeld to Veep, everything. I love her. So that she's in the MCU now. I love that addition. And I really genuinely love Sam Wilson as a character. I just feel like it's a little bit, I don't know. I used to be a very ground level MCU gal, and now I think I'm a little bit more in the fantasy side, just because these TV shows are swaying me a little bit. So I think that's what the other two have over Falcon and Winter Soldier for me. But that's not to say I didn't like it or it wasn't bad.
Say sorry to them.
I'm sorry.
Say you're sorry.
Sam, Bucky, I'm sorry, guys. I really am. Really am. And also, I think the other thing is, and I have to correct myself now because I said before, I was like, oh, Zemo kind of feels a little Loki-ish in that episode 3. Nobody compares to Loki.
Zemo's lit. Get out of here.
Sorry,
I would rank it Loki, Falcon and Winter Soldier, WandaVision. I have my gripes.
And that's fair.
I've already talked about it. Mephisto's a Loki variant. Prove me wrong. Well, we just kind of dove into it. It's not happening. China. It's not happening. Sorry, man. I mean, that'd be kind of cool, but it's just this is not just content, it's also business.
Yeah.
China's the big, I think it's bigger than the US. It's like the biggest market.
Yeah, it is the biggest. So, and only, for people who don't know, only 23, I don't know how it works with streaming. I don't know if China even has Disney Plus at this point, but only 23 or 25 movies outside of China make it into Chinese movie theaters each year. Yeah. So, especially in this year when they have 3 Marvel movies, next year they'll have 3 again. They want to be in that 3. And they're already fighting with, like Jack said, with one of the spots is already Fast and Furious. That series is, I don't want to say it's made for China, but the so much of that series is so that it's watched there to make money. Yeah. Why did James Cameron re-release Avatar specifically in China after Endgame?
Again. Such a cheap move, but whatever.
Such a cheap move, but you know, that's the business. That's how it works.
Owen Wilson as a character is just amazing. Yes.
Agreed.
We will continue to echo this till the day we die. I love Owen Wilson. He's fantastic. Sasha, what mic is that? Because I think it's the same as mine.
Let me look. I'm not actually 100%. It is the Audio-Technica AT 2005 USB.
Hey, Audio-Technica fam now. I finally upgraded my mic. Everyone knows Audio-Technica AT 2020. I've wanted that one for a long time. I finally got it, and it's sounding crisp and clean.
It really is. It's very nice.
I love it. This was my first big purchase with money I got from my paycheck. So
hey, there you go.
It's XLR, not USB. I had to get an audio thing. It's all down here. It's a whole thing, but it's sick. I love it. Currently watching the episode now. It's good. Great. I hope we didn't spoil anything for you. I don't think you came in when we were doing the spoiler review, so I think you should be okay. But good. Make sure to subscribe to Jack and Sasha. They're amazing YouTubers with awesome content. So subscribe.
Thank you, Reagan.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Like I said, let me get a quick sub check. Let's just check the subs. Hopefully, opening another tab is not going to screw with my Wi-Fi because we've been doing pretty good since I had that little meltdown. I have not frozen yet. The only time was when my camera battery died. Sub check.
682. Someone subscribed.
All right. Y'all already know what to do.
Listen, if we don't get you tonight, we're going to get you in the next 6 weeks.
Y'all listen to me really carefully right now. You better subscribe or I'm never posting another video again.
Guys, don't make him do it.
I'm joking.
Don't make him do it.
I'm joking. I love making videos too much. or do I?
Dun dun dun.
All right. Okay. Moving on. Plot twist. The hooded figure at the end is actually Luke from the end of Stop. Okay. Goodbye. Goodbye. Nah, I'm obviously kidding, but if I'm right, this is the comment as a reference. Well, it'll also be in the replay. I heard they were making pops for Loki. I'm snagging that Mobius. I think we all are. I think that's a general consensus in this room right now. I think we all are. I'm excited to see.
I'm excited to see what other ones they have, because the 2 that they have are very good. But again, like WandaVision, like Falcon and Winter Soldier, there's obviously stuff we haven't seen yet.
Just can't spoil.
Like Sophia DiMartino does not have a listed character yet. People I mean, we all kind of, I think, know that she's probably Lady Loki. That's the popular consensus. But that's probably a pop. That's probably a pop.
Oh, 10 out of flippin' 10. I think that's definitely true.
I think that one and probably President Loki or Vote for Loki. That one I would bet, but I don't know. I was wrong with Falcon Winter Soldier, so.
Yeah, I don't know. I still need to snag a Sam Wilson Captain America. Eventually, guys, eventually.
Do you see you'll get to meet him at Avengers Campus?
Yes, I'm lit. Guys, I'm going in September.
Woo woo!
I officially got my tickets and I got the time off. So it's lit. I'm gonna vlog it, and I already know the title. Marvel fanatic goes to Avengers Campus for the first time, and it's gonna be a thumbnail of me crying. I already know.
The whole video will just be Jack crying as he does different things throughout the Avengers Campus. Oh my God, it's Sam Wilson! Oh my God, it's Spider-Man!
It's like literally the equivalent. So like you watch those videos like when Galaxy's Edge first opened, and like the Star Wars fans were bawling when they walked in. Game over, man.
Yeah.
Game over. Which is so ironic because I wasn't even into Marvel like 3 years ago.
It's crazy how it just hooks you and gets you. I mean, I have to say, I remember I've like been a Marvel fan. I keep saying this, but since at least 2012, I can confirm that when Andrew Garfield was Spider-Man and when the Avengers came out with Loki, that was my obsession. That's what I spent my time looking at on Tumblr. Like that was my middle school experience. And I think somewhere along the way in high school, I was very like, I remember vividly in high school saying to people like, here's the movies you need to watch before such and such film, or here's what you need to do. But when between Infinity War and Endgame, which it's crazy to think that was two movies and we got Captain Marvel in between and that was it, right? Like that's insane to me, thinking that we've had 3 TV shows, potentially 3 more, and we're getting 3 movies this year. That blows my mind. But I remember writing in like a journal or something saying like going to see Endgame and the hype about Endgame, and then that whole experience for me just really renewed for me at that point. Like I was studying film for school, just solidified for me like how important those movies are and how much they've shaped like who I am as a person. And I genuinely do agree that those kind of things can happen in like a couple years because there's so many opportunities, and it's something I'm so passionate about. And I think Marvel is the one thing to be able to do it consistently, is when you offer people moments of like identification with a character, when they're able to grow with a character for 10, 11, 12 years plus is what we're getting into now. A decade of their life can be dedicated to these people. They can feel so connected and understand their own experiences through those characters. That is storytelling. That is insane that they've been able to do that. That changes people's lives. Like, not to be over dramatic, but like that's genuinely how I feel. And I think you would agree, Jack.
No, I mean, I'm literally going to tell a story right now about how it's just changed mine. Like, so my mom will always say this, and she'll always credit herself with this. And I credit my mom with everything. I wouldn't be what I am without her. She always, when I was there, she's like, and she tells me this, and I don't ever remember, but she remembers more than I do. She was always like, hey, you want to go see this Marvel movie? Hey, you want to go see this movie? You want to go? And I was always like, nah, not really into it. And then Infinity War came out. And I went and saw it in theaters, and I was like, I don't know. And what I experienced, so at opening night with a bunch of my friends, what I experienced in that theater changed everything for me. I went from not giving 2 craps about movies in general. Like I had seen Star Wars, like, for Christmas, oh, let's go see a movie, just as a family thing. Like I would do that, but look at like now, like,
yeah,
like look at all of like 4 years ago, not even 4, like 4 years ago, I was a completely different person when it came to this. I could care less about movies. Infinity War, it was like a switch flipped. If people go back and like to my channel and see the stuff I was doing my freshman year of high school and all of that, it was vastly different than what I'm doing now. Now, my channel is entirely movies. That's all it is. I'm trying to be an actual film critic. Like 3 years ago, I would have said, you're crazy. But like these movies, even if Martin Scorsese calls them carnival games and people say that they're a joke, they change people's lives in positive ways. And here we are now, it's just incredible. So yeah, Marvel's cool.
Marvel is cool.
Marvel is cool.
To put it simply,
Marvel is cool. Off topic, but should I watch Karate Kid tonight or Mission Impossible? Mission Impossible. That's my opinion.
I would second that.
I mean, you gotta get ready for the 7th. What does fanatic mean, by the way? Yeah, I ask myself that question every day. No, I mean, it could be a few things. One, it was a misspelling. Two, but then I spun it kind of cleverly. The Finn, back old movies, Finn would be when the movie was over. So Finn, Attic. I'm a fanatic of film, so Finn, y'all can pick up what I'm putting down. That I flipped it to that when I started doing movies, but it was like a misspelling at the beginning. Well, okay, but to really get there, to get to
how a story to it though.
To get to how we got there though, my gamer tag for my Xbox and stuff was Red Sox Fanatic 15. That's what it's always been. It still is. Actually, no, I've changed it now on my PlayStation to just Fanatic 15. And then what I ended up doing was I didn't want that anymore. That was and I made that my original YouTube name. It was Red Sox Fanatic 15 because that's just what my alias was. And then I was like, okay. A few years later, I was like, I want to trim this because it's way too freaking long. So I changed it to Fanatic 15. If you were here in the Fanatic 15 days, y'all are the real homies. And that was when it changed to Fanatic. Originally, it was just a misspelling. That's legitimately what it was. It was a misspelling. I didn't notice it, and then I'm like, oh, well, I'm not changing it. But if y'all were here in the Fanatic 15 days, comment, y'all are the real ones. So then I shifted and did the films. So I'm like, oh, Fanatic Films. Sounds good. And here we are. So that's what fanatic means. No one's ever asked me that before, except for my mom. She's like, what does that mean? I'm like, I don't really know. Yeah. Reagan, the music during the airplane bomb sequence was awesome. Yes, we've covered the DB Cooper sequence a lot. It's one of the best sequences, one of the most clever sequences of the show so far.
The music across the board was great. It really was.
The score is fantastic. Just everything about it is great. It's just damn good. Get your comments in the chat. We'll be here for a little bit longer. We're going to give our episode 2 predictions. Well, Sasha is. I don't really want to say anything. Sasha's going to give her predictions. But yeah, get your comments in. We're going to give our predictions. Then we'll talk to you guys and then we'll head out. There might be a trailer dropping tomorrow. That's at least what's rumored. I don't know. But I have to prepare for that.
What trailer is rumored, Jack?
Well, it might be a little web slinging.
Oh, okay. Well,
now that's not coming from me.
Okay,
it's a rumor that I saw on social media. It's not coming from me from anything that I've heard. It is something I've seen on social media. From my sources, I don't completely buy those rumors. I think we may have another week or so to wait.
Because the rumor I had heard was that it was supposed to be
in front of people too.
Yeah.
Which is
that's what Sony's production or what they wanted was.
Which is coming out this week. So that's why people are like, but what I've heard is what I had heard was in the next 2 weeks, and I heard that this past weekend. So in about a week and a half. We're gonna get it soon. But I need to prepare for that because, as you guys know, I got work. So we'll stay on for a little bit longer. So, Ricardo. Oh, so it's a misspell. English isn't my first language. So I thought it was an actual word I didn't know. Yeah, it's a misspell. You may be able to look it up and it may be a word. I don't know. I should probably do that in case it's something bad, but
I think you're good.
Yeah. You're the first person to get my name right the first time. LOL. Hey, Reagan. I mean, I know Reagan's. One of my best friends from college is named Reagan. Boom. There you go. Love the editing of the end credits. Very cinematic.
Yes. I feel like that's when I talk about like the production design of the show, both the costumes, the set, the like even the titles and things. I feel like we haven't talked about this even. The intro of the Loki with the different like letters changing feels very like almost like those old serial killer letters that it would be like cut and pasted from like newspapers or magazines and stuff. I love it, but it feels like it's old like negatives of a film or something. I'm obsessed with that. And then the ending credits, just the way they transition just feels so good to me. I don't know. I'm such a nerd for those kind of things. I love that.
Well, it was crazy because in the first episode, at first I was like, oh, it's still going. Like they're opening the flowers. And I'm like, oh, wait, this is the credits.
Yeah.
So I like that. I thought that was really cool. Studio, whoa. I totally boomered right there. Did y'all rank the first episode from the 3 shows? I've been in and out of live stream. We didn't rank the first episode. We ranked just the shows in general, but we can do that right now. I mean, I'll just do mine real quick. Loki, number 1, Falcon Winter Soldier, number 2, WandaVision, number 3. Still same.
Yeah, I would echo that. Not that I didn't like this one. I don't know. Do I echo that?
I mean, the thing for me is that WandaVision, it didn't really do anything for the story. It was just one of the sitcom. It was one of the sitcom episodes, and it didn't do anything. Falcon and Winter Soldier, it did a lot.
That is true.
And Loki, I think it like, if I had to think about just the first episode, I might put Falcon and Winter Soldier over Loki, but Loki is so good with pacing that I think it's just better. I think Falcon and Winter Soldier was a little too much.
I think for me, I don't know, because I really like the first episode of WandaVision. I like the 50s sitcom, The Dick Van Dyke Show. I think that's what that one is supposed to be taken after. I don't like the second one as much, the 60s episode, and then the third is with Jimmy Woo. And then I like the third is when she has the kids. The kids one is my favorite episode of WandaVision. To me, that's like one of my favorite Marvel episode lists. So I'll be interested to see how Loki compares when you break it down. I think with Falcon and Winter Soldier, I think I think the pacing of Loki is much stronger than Falcon and Winter Soldier for the hour format. I think Falcon and Winter Soldier gets more nitty gritty and has more factual information for this series. And the ending is great. The cliffhanger is fantastic. Whereas the first episode of WandaVision, you're left very confused. So if I was ranking them specifically critically, we'll go Loki, Falcon, Winter Soldier, WandaVision. My personal preference is still WandaVision over it. I'm one of those people. I'm sorry, everyone, but I am. But Loki is definitely above WandaVision. And I would say it's like, it's a ways above it.
And look, I'm not saying I don't like the first episode of WandaVision. I think it's fine. I just think from the overall, like, what does it do for the story?
Yeah.
Because it is a pilot episode, so it is kind of important to like do stuff. It doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, it's not a pilot episode. I like it is. WandaVision is much more of a what is the word? American Horror Story is this, like the seasons anthology. WandaVision is very anthology. It all ends up fitting into the same thing, but it's very anthology from episode to episode, which is definitely jarring in the first two. And that's why I think the first two released at the same time, not only to give us an hour of content, but because you get those two out of the way and you can compare them with one another. Whereas if we were just given one of those, imagine how like kind of lost people would be. Yeah. You know? So, but I think I think ultimately what this person's getting at, I think Loki is the best so far.
Can you make a video of your favorite movies from every year you've been born? Love those videos. Recorded one myself, set to come out tomorrow on my channel. Well, first off, everyone go check out that video tomorrow. Second,
check out Reagan's video.
I've already made that. I did it my birthday last year. May do it again. Well, I would have to update it for another year. But you can go check that out on my channel. I did one last year in September.
That's a great video idea.
But yeah, I would save it for birthdays. That's I don't know why people do them not on their birthday. I think it's such a fitting birthday video.
That does make a lot of sense.
It's like, hey, I turned 20. Well, this year I'm gonna be turning 23. I turned 23. Let's break down every year that I've been born. I don't know. Hey guys, Michaela Rose. Hey, what's up?
Hey, Michaela.
What's good? How you doing? I think WandaVision was released at the wrong time. I think its creativity would be appreciated in the future. Yes and no. I think it was released at the right time because it built up the hype. Like the theory, as much as I hated the theories, it got people talking, got the MCU back. But yeah, Falcon and Winter Soldier was supposed to be the first, and that would have been the proper first, I think.
Yes. I agree. I think this is where my discussion earlier, if anyone missed it, of Marvel, give me a timeline, or maybe I just need to do the research. What got affected production-wise because of COVID? What was the release schedule pre-COVID? What is the release schedule in actuality as we've experienced it? Because to me, the reason WandaVision came out first, it was done. They filmed it all in front of a live studio audience. That's expensive. They tried to get that knocked out as soon as possible. It had a lot of post-production because it's magic and things like that. They had to work on the practical effects and things. So all of that was taken care of. Secondly, with WandaVision being the one confirmed limited series, with it being the critical favorite that would qualify for Emmys, because right now it's an Emmy consideration. I don't know when the cutoff is, if Loki will make that, but WandaVision to me is Disney Plus's submission for Emmys nominations. And I think it stands a good chance with that crowd of people who don't like traditional MCU. And to me, I think I would have appreciated Falcon and Winter Soldier so much more than I already do if it was the first thing to come out, because it was familiar characters in the real world. It addressed things that had happened in Endgame. Where's Steve? What is this? Who's the next Captain America? We see Rhodey again. Like, it's very real world, but it wasn't done yet. And so I 100% feel like, not that it was the wrong decision, not that anything like that. It's the way it is. We can't change it. I think had it been flipped, some of the appreciation for both shows would be a little bit stronger.
Yeah, and I definitely think that WandaVision really got thrown by the fact that then Doctor Strange got delayed a year.
Yes, because they were supposed to be, the finale was supposed to be a week before.
Or yeah,
I think the movie came out or something like that. Yeah.
If that were the case, I think people would have enjoyed it tenfold. I would have enjoyed it tenfold, like more, because I would have been like, all right, it was cool. We're going right into Doctor Strange. Let's get it.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, okay, I got that. It was fine. Now we got to wait a year.
Yeah.
So yeah. It's COVID. COVID really screwed well, we can't control COVID, but it really screwed the pooch with everything else going on with the MCU. I'm going to WandaVision above the other two. We did get the first two drop on the same day, and the second is my favorite overall. Hey, that's great. I like that. The only thing I will say is the first two dropped, yes. Also, they were only a half an hour episodes as opposed to an hour episodes, and there's less episodes of Falcon and Winter of the other two than WandaVision.
Yeah.
They could afford to do that. Second episode's your favorite. That's great. I personally didn't like that, and I will put this right here. Nope, wrong one. This one. First two episodes should have been combined. I completely agree with that. Completely. That's just my thought, but I totally respect where you're coming from, though. Like I always, one of the big things I preach on my channel, film is subjective, media is subjective. Yeah. You like what you like. No one should give you a hard time.
Yeah. There we go. No, I agree. I agree 100%. And I think there really just are, I think this is the great thing. In the MCU, we didn't used to have conversations like this of like, did you, obviously, like, you like certain movies over each other, but you only get so many a year, and that's kind of dependent on the character or what you're getting that year. Usually you're comparing it with one other film. Now you're getting these 3 TV shows within a 6-month span. And I think WandaVision also, I think it suffered in the marketing campaign was fantastic for the posters and the creative design and the way the Instagram was laid out and all that kind of stuff. But I think it really suffered from promoting parts of the show that ultimately did not have much gravity in the run of the series. And we were told from the beginning it's directly related to a movie that we're not getting for a year. So I just really think that is where WandaVision rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. I agree with you, Ricardo. I really love the early sitcoms. And I think the only reason it wasn't an hour is because it's a comedy sitcom. Like, those are 22 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever they're supposed to be. So, like, I understand why that wasn't a creative decision they made, because I really do think that this phase of the MCU we're in now is very, not auteur, but like, this director is in charge of this character and franchise, and we're exploring that this way. And that's another reason that makes me think we're going into the multiverse potentially with TVA, and connected to Doctor Strange is Michael Waldron is attached to both. he's the writer of both. So it's like, anyways, I'm spitballing here, but I understand people's different rankings, and I think we should all be able to rank the Marvel shows differently.
Absolutely. This is a bit off topic. Are you guys excited for Fast 9? Yes.
I have not watched all the Fast and Furious movies, but I have never been in a theater and I went to go see Fast 7 on a whim. Like, I think I'd seen the first two, and I don't think it was Tokyo Drift. I'd seen like Too Fast, Too Furious, and Fast and Furious. But I went and saw Fast 7, and I was just like, this is insane. I don't remember exactly. I don't.
Okay, because I bawled my eyes out.
I'm not like a hardcore fan, but do I enjoy them? Yes. I really like Fast and Furious.
When I first watched Furious 7 specifically, I wasn't a hardcore fan, but I was so into Paul Walker's character. I was like, so yes, I am incredibly excited. It's one of my most anticipated of the year. I know it sounds bad because it's like a hella popcorn movie, but bring it on. I'll shove the popcorn all over my face.
Why not? That's half the reason you go to movies.
10 out of 10. Casey not knowing what the fish is cracked me up. Yes.
That was hysterical. That was so funny.
There's no flaw to that. I think that's
plus not even exemplified. That whole sequence of scenes, or like combination of scenes, is supposed to be showing Loki, you are not most powerful. The things you think that are prioritized in the universe and are powerful are not. Blah, 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 blah. And he's trying to make this insane death threat to this guy, and he doesn't even I think that just comes down to personal preference, the characters you like, and in just kind of what you connected to, I think.
Yeah. I think Paul Bettany also screwed over the fans by making the joke in the interview about acting. Yep.
I did not see this interview, so I did not know that.
Yep.
Do we have confirmation of who he was referencing?
Himself. Yup.
You're kidding. That's so funny.
That was an interview that he had like a week in.
Oh, that's so funny.
You didn't know about that?
No.
Wow.
That's so funny. That is the ultimate, like, snitches end up in ditches, like, reverse spoiler play.
They were like looking like, who has he not worked with? And that was like the Al Pacino, like Al Pacino's going to show up, his like nightmare. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. What's happening?
That's so funny. Yeah, I'm sorry to everyone who experienced that real time, had that disappointment. But for me now, it's funny. That's hysterical.
Screwed the pooch. Just found out the company has the Infinity Stones. Yep, not a fan of that. Talked about that already. Maddie, Bucky. Yellow Bucky.
Hi, Maddie. Maddie is my friend. Hi, Maddie.
Hey, Maddie. Hi.
Thanks for popping in. She loves Bucky.
Okay, well.
There he is, Maddie.
There you go.
In Funko form.
There's Buck. I call him Buck. I'm allowed to call him Buck.
Yeah, first name basis, absolutely. Nickname basis.
Yeah, thanks for coming in, Maddie. Appreciate it. Most anticipated movie for Phase 4. Mine is Doctor Strange, 100%. Spider-Man.
Ooh. Phase 4. Okay, so we've got Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Spider-Man, Multiverse.
It's tough.
Love and Thunder.
Like all the movies that have been announced are all in Phase 4. So it's tough because you got like Thor, Doctor Strange, the Eternals, Spider-Man, like all slapping you in the face. And you got Wakanda Forever and the Marvels. And I know I'm forgetting some.
Yeah, there's Ant-Man Quantumania.
Yeah.
Or Quantumania. Yeah. Which I was doing some research this week, and I won't spoil anything, but some people believe that the next Thanos level villain, if we are to get one, may appear in Quantumania, which I like because it prioritizes that film a little bit more. Which I think some people are like Ant-Man 3, and I'm like, you know what? Don't talk about Paul Rudd that way.
Ant-Man 3 gonna be lit.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Yeah. I think I don't know, most anticipated. See, I'm trying to be more like, don't get hype about the other stuff going on. Be hype about Loki right now, and like be a little bit more like focused, because I tend to be future focused. I think Spider-Man comes out the day I graduate. So I'm psyched about that, which is a week after my birthday. So December is going to be the best month ever for me. On top of the stress of being a real adult and getting a job, whatever. That's conversation for another day. But I think right now I am really excited for Black Widow, partially just because I wouldn't say it's my most anticipated, but just because of I know Hawkeye is going to start afterwards, or like have. And what and who?
And Florence Pugh.
Yes, and Florence Pugh and Yelena Belova, and I'm so psyched about that. And yeah, that would be my current most anticipated, but I'm really just excited for all of them. So it's not really. I think it's just hard because like I think my favorite character before all of this, who had solo films, was probably Cap. So to not have any more Steve Rogers films, I think I'm just a little bit like, not that I don't love Sam Wilson or anything. I think he's the choice. Mm-hmm. I just my focus is my two favorite characters are Loki and Clint Barton. Okay, so that's where my focus is, people.
To just give a quick answer, I'll give my top 3. Spider-Man is number 1. It was my most anticipated film of the year, not just MCU. Eternals is now number 2, just because of that trailer.
Oh my gosh. Okay, and maybe that's my most anticipated.
Number 3 is Doctor Strange, but they are so close. So close. Well, the 2 are. Spider-Man is
superior.
The potential. It's the potential.
Yeah.
All right. The comments are flowing.
They really are.
Multiverse is going to go deep and then tie into Eternal somehow because the timekeepers have to know them. Yeah,
I agree.
I definitely agree. I think that's something that definitely could happen. Do we know when Hawkeye is coming? Because if it's later this year, we'll have 4 movies and 4 shows in here. Yes, it's coming later this year. It's supposed to be like
both Miss Marvel and that. The one thing I see with Hawkeye them maybe doing,
they could delay
it or have it be like a January release.
Yeah.
So it's like end of 2021, but not really, because with I don't see them delaying it much past that, but I have a hard time believing they're going to do 2 Marvel shows on top of each other that are going to be running the same time as a movie. You know what I mean? Like there's not a lot of time, depending on how many episodes there are in What If, between when that airs and Shang-Chi, and then we've got probably a gap there for one show. And then the other thing is Book of Boba Fett is supposed to be taking over when Mando would usually be running
in December.
So for Disney Plus, I just have to think. Now, right now, they have a couple really popular shows. Like they've got High School Musical, the series. Obviously, that and Loki hit different markets, but still 2 pretty. It is surprisingly delightful. I'm a High School Musical.
The first season. I watched the first
you did?
season.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Second season is good.
I need to watch the second season, yeah.
Second season is good. It's a little bit of a slower burn, but we're getting there. The last episode was pretty good. But I'm with this question, Ricardo, I'm trying to think business-wise, how do they do this? Mm-hmm. But yeah, I want Hawkeye and Miss Marvel, honestly, as soon as possible.
Yeah, just do it. Should I watch the Fast franchise? I want to make a video for ranking the highest grossing movies. Furious 7 is one of them. Is the franchise worth it? Freak yeah. I freaking love the Fast franchise. I am hella lit for Furious 9.
Yeah. And it's going to continue to be one of the biggest franchises, so it's an investment of your time. Think about it that way.
Ending soon. The main storyline is with like Furious 11. Like that's the last one. So we're coming to an end, which I'm gonna cry about. But they're gonna continue to do. They're gonna do spinoffs.
Or like Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah, they're gonna do spinoffs, but like the main family timeline is coming to an end with 7. Ewan.
Hey Ewan, what's up?
Love the new camera, Jack. Thank you.
It is. I gotta compliment you. Your upgrade went up 1,000,000. Like it's beautiful. Plus, you've got the whole setup behind you and everything. It just works.
I was like, I wasn't using this space properly, so here we are. And I can watch my TV when I'm editing. So
it's perfect.
Hey Ewan. Hi, Maddie. I think you're talking to Ewan, but hi. Ewan says hello. I don't know. I'm reading up. Maddie. Oh my God, my love.
She said she was referencing. She just texted me. She said she was referencing the.
Yeah.
No, okay, you got it.
I totally got it. Michaela, also excited for Black Panther 2. Yep, Wakanda Forever.
I'm excited for that.
I am very intrigued by that one, just to see where they go.
Me too.
I'm very intrigued. Not excited for No Way Home because John Watts is directing. I thought the first two were good. And let me just put it this way, Reagan. The potential is huge. The other two Spider-Men, a Sinister Six, old Spider-Man characters, multiverse, Doctor Strange. The potential is huge. Be excited for that. Don't be like disappointed because of a director. Be excited for the potential of the actual movie itself. And John Watts is directing the Fantastic Four, so
I also think there's some pretty early MCU movies that the direction isn't obviously the same touch as a Ryan Coogler or a Taika Waititi or anything like that. So like I think the story for this one is going to be pretty, like Jack's saying, the potential for the story, and the story has to be super locked down. They've got to answer a lot of questions. So maybe it's not even a major, the directing on it is that important. I'm not trying to like dismiss it out of hand, but I'm just saying like
I think with the MCU, sorry, I apologize.
No, I didn't have a complete thought.
I think with the MCU, there are some instances where the direction isn't always as important because you follow the formula and you just go with what Kevin Feige has planned. Will John Watts be able to... I don't know what's going to happen in the movie. This is just theory, speculation, rumors, but if they try to pull off what I think they're going to try to pull off, maybe the direction may come into play, but I don't think you really notice because there's so much happening that you're just not going to notice.
Yeah.
That's at least what I think. I don't know. Honestly, it's going to be hard to pick, I think, with Phase 4.
I agree, Michaela. I agree hardcore.
It's tough. Really tough. Ewan, don't talk about Paul Rudd like that.
No one insults my man.
That is a t-shirt. That's a t-shirt right there.
I love Paul Rudd. His Hot Ones, I went through a phase at the beginning of this year where all I did, cooking, cleaning, homework, I was watching Hot Ones, and his is the best. And he bodied those wings. He did not take a sip of anything else. So no, I will not stand for anyone talking bad about Ant-Man himself.
Look at us.
Or Mike. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Not me.
If you could choose any director to direct an upcoming MCU movie, who would you choose? I'd pick Bong Joon-ho. Christopher Mother effing Nolan. I'm just a Nolan stan. I want him to direct. I mean, he did so well with The Dark Knight. Bring that style into the MCU.
I could see that. I think for me, I am a huge Taika Waititi. I don't think I talk about this nearly as much as I used to, but I'm a huge Taika Waititi fan. So anything he gets to do, I love. But he's already in it, so that doesn't count.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like with Reagan, he said Russo brothers or Waititi. They've both already done it, and Waititi's doing Thor.
Yeah,
so those are good thoughts, and I would love to see more movies directed by them in the MCU. They're doing them, and the Russo brothers said they'd want to come back to do Secret Wars in 10 million years from now. But yeah,
I don't know if I have a particular pick. I don't think he would ever in a million years do this. I'm a big fan of Noah Baumbach's like dialogue when people talk over each other. Mm-hmm. And so I could see that in the MCU, but it would have to be writing, directing. I just don't feel like that's really his vibe. But I maybe him.
That'd be cool. That'd work well with the MCU humor.
Just Pepper and Tony, but it's Marriage Story. But they don't get divorced. You know what I mean? Just think about it.
We get a movie between the 5 years later in Endgame, and it's just a Pepper and Tony like. That'd be so
yeah, exactly.
Natty. Florence and Sebastian, the Marvel movie, is going to make me lose my mind. It'll happen eventually. We're on the same wavelength here. Florence Pugh is the best.
Florence Pugh is incredible. She's insane.
Where am I? I'm here. Hey, Ewan, enjoyed your latest Beatles video. Keep them coming. Ewan, you're killing it.
Killing it, Ewan.
Watering it. Got some insights on Hawkeye, so I'm excited for some of the stuff they follow through. What are the insights? I kind of want to know.
Yeah, share with us, Michaela, because I have... Okay, so this is kind of...
Unless you'll get in trouble, then don't.
Yeah, but don't get in trouble, Michaela. Don't risk that. I think what I'm most excited for is there was there was a comic run in 2012, and it's called Hawkeye. And it's, I mean, obviously, but it focuses on him meeting Kate Bishop, and Hawkeye in that series has a hearing aid, and he does sign language, and that's where Pizza Dog originates, is this specific storyline, which a lot of that's been confirmed for the series. I spent way too much money on that hardback comic book, but I have it. I own it now. And so I've been reading through it. There are a couple scenes from that the costuming looks like identical. Like Gwen Stacy and Amazing Spider-Man 2 death scene, identical costuming. So I'm very, very excited to see how much they follow through from the original comic.
Misclick. Yeah, I mean, I'm just excited to see Haley Steinfeld.
Yes. This is the perfect role.
I mean, she looks great in it. I mean, she looks perfect for the role. And people had always been like, she wants Kate Bishop, and then she finally announced, and it's like, yeah. Top 3 favorite superheroes. Number 1, Iron Man. Number 2, The Flash. Number 3, Captain America. Sasha.
Top 3. Shoot.
It's okay. I just did it quick. You can.
Let's see. Captain America, I think, would be my. Would he be my top? Am I doing power rankings or doing my favorite? No, I'm doing my favorite. Okay, my favorite would be Cap, Wanda, or Scarlet Witch, I think, and Hawkeye.
Sick.
I just really like when Hawkeye has to go pick up his arrows. That's dumb, but I like it. It's not that I don't love Tony.
Can we get a post-credit scene of Hawkeye, like after the Battle of New York, just like, all right, back in the sheath.
Gets that. Like in Ultron when he's like, oh, and whatever happened to Barton? Oh, like some guy smushed him, and like blah blah blah. And he's just talking to himself after he gives like Pietro and Wanda like their pep talk, and he's like, "You come out of this building, you're an Avenger," and then they just leave him. He's just like, okay, like.
It's so funny though. He's like, we're here, floating city, robots, and I have a bow and arrow. None of this makes sense.
Yes.
Wait, I think that might be.
I think that's word for word.
So I don't know if you guys have seen these, but my sister made these for my birthday last year, and they are coasters. Avengers themes. They're the Avengers, and on the back, she did. These are freaking sick. So they're the 6 Avengers. They're the 6 Avengers, and then on the back, she asked me, "What's your favorite quote from each Avenger?" Just randomly one day. So I gave her my favorite quotes, and so on the back is my favorite quote.
Those look amazing.
Avenger. Yeah, so she killed it. So on Hawkeye's, my quote is, "And I have a bow and arrow. None of this makes sense." That's the back of mine.
I love that.
I'll run through them all. Iron Man is, "I told you I don't want to join your super secret boy band." I love that quote. Sorry, I'm doing this real quick. Thor, by far, my favorite quote from any Thor movie. "I need a horse." The best quote in any Thor movie. Black Widow. "We need to try for everyone who's not in. We owe it to everyone who's not in this room to try." From Endgame. And then she bites the dust. Hulk, "I'm always angry." Great quote.
Classic.
And then Cap, "I can do this all day." Yeah, I know. So my sister made this, and it says
those are amazing.
She painted the Avengers logo. Best birthday present ever I got last year.
That's fantastic.
I don't even use them. And she that's all hand painted. She did that all herself.
That's crazy.
Okay, people are saying they're superheroes. Reagan, Sasha, High School Musical series season 2 is really good so far. I agree.
I love it. It's very I'll just do my quick opinion of the show. I think what's brilliant is Disney has tapped into Gen Z's love of The Office in the mockumentary format and been like, let's take something that's established and let's do this and put it together. I think a new High School Musical reboot is in the works. I could forget about it. This show could run for the next 4 years for me, and this would be good. I love it. And I think the second season, I talked about this in my reviews, which I do weekly reviews if anyone is interested. Thank you. I love that this season has a bit of a more mature tone, but it is also sticking with the awkward camera shots. In the first season, it was way more Disney sitcom, haha, something awkward happened, cut away. This season, they're something awkward happens and they hang on them.
Let's linger.
What? Let's linger.
Let's linger.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's way stronger. And the last episode I think was incredible writing. So highly recommend for anyone who's dismissed it or who's only ever heard about it because of the music drama with the two leads and blah blah blah, whatever. Go watch the show. It's worth your time.
Oh my god. Joey mother effing Gould. Holy crap, Jack, I'm watching you on YouTube. What a blast from the freaking past. You know what, Joey? It's so funny. I just texted John today because it's his birthday. Wished him happy birthday. Real quick, for anyone that doesn't know, be right back.
I don't know what he's getting, guys. He's back.
So Joey and John were my two they still are, but they're my two best friends from high school. We played football together, and I still have in my apartment now framed. You guys know this photo. That's Joey. That's John. And that's me. Look at little Jack in you guys can't see. Look at little Jack in high school. Look at that man. Look at that man. But yeah, there's Joe. So this is Joey right here. Joey, my freaking man. We haven't talked in probably a year. That's like the thing. So I hope you're doing well, man. I need to talk to you guys more. Thanks for coming and watching.
Stream reunion.
Subscribe if you haven't already. Sorry, I need it.
Gotta plug it.
Max Talks Movies. Too Fast, Too Furious, one of my ultimate guilty pleasures. Great movie. My sister one time disrespected Chadwick's death, and I just about screamed. Can we take a minute to respect and remember him? Yes. Rest in peace to the king. I'll go out and say he's a generational talent. I mean, he is. I mean, the things that he was able to accomplish in film are absolutely just incredible. The people he was able to portray are iconic, and you know, I don't think I would be understating the impact he had on boys and girls that are of the same skin color as him. Seeing a superhero lead like that is incredible. So
I really think I remember when I got the news alert on my phone that he had passed, and I don't think in my lifetime, with the exception of people who I'd really paid attention and followed, I'm a pretty big Apple fangirl, so when Steve Jobs passed, obviously that was pretty impactful for my life. But when Chadwick Boseman passed away, I just remember being so struck by how it was the first time in my life I really felt no, that's not true. That can't be right. It doesn't make any sense. And then to learn after that he had been struggling with cancer, fighting cancer, and while we knew him, the entire time we knew him as T'Challa, he was fighting cancer. That is just incredible to me. And I truly think his legacy will live on forever.
Yeah. I mean, the only other one for me is Kobe Bryant.
That one too.
It just, two legends gone way too soon. All right. Everyone good. Black Widow's coming exactly a month, July 9th. Freaky out.
I'm psyched.
I just want to say this. So I've gone to the movies a lot lately, the actual movie theater a lot lately. I've seen the Black Widow trailer a few times, the new one. That score at the end, when it's the choir singing the Avengers theme, I'm like, Holy mother of God, what is this? I didn't know I needed it, and I freaking love it.
It gets so hyped.
I'm like literal goosebumps. It's just absolutely incredible. Oh, jeez, just incredible. Haven't watched episode 4 of High School Musical Series, but so far it's better than the first season because they're letting the characters breathe, be themselves, and not trying to connect everything to the trilogy. I haven't seen it, but I'm assuming Sasha agrees. Yes.
Yeah, I agree. They have 2 more episodes this season than they did last season, obviously giving a little bit more time. And I think I don't know if the episodes are necessarily all equally longer, but they feel like there's a little bit more time. And yeah, you're right. There's not that direct connection to the original trilogy the way the first one obviously was, because that was the play they were doing.
Yeah. Joey, happy to see you chasing your dreams, man. I wish you nothing but the best for you and your channel. Hey, hit me up, man. Let's talk. Hit me up. Hit me up. Hit me up, brother. Hit me up. You know where I am. Hit me up. He's the man. Holy crap, Jack. Christopher Nolan directing an MCU movie being amazing. Don't even direct an MCU movie. Come back to direct the next season of Loki with the TVA. It's exactly like Inception with time. I'm not even joking. Like, bring it. Bring it. I want it. Do it now. Do it. I won't say much. I don't want my Marvel friend to track me down. Yes, please do not say too much if it's going to get you in trouble. But I'm friends with the owner of Lucky the Dog, and she told me some stuff. Or Lucky the Pizza Dog, and she told me some stuff.
Michaela knows Lucky.
I guess
Pizza Dog. That's incredible. He or she is the cutest dog. Cannot wait.
Oh, Christian. Oh, you may lose some brownie points for this one.
I'm getting called out for the state of my kitchen. Listen, there's times in your day when you turn the dishwasher on at night. And then the next morning you don't unload the dishwasher because you have a very important television show to watch. And then you film an episode of the television show. And now the dirty dishes are piling up in the sink because they can't go in the dishwasher. It's a whole situation. I feel very called out.
Isn't it? I mean, but I like work every, it's one.
You have a real person job. I don't really have much of an excuse. I'm just trying to save myself a little bit, protect my pride.
No, I would do
but yeah, no. Basically, let's just hope my mom doesn't see this and doesn't know that my apartment is a mess. I'm very bad at cleaning things.
This may be blasphemy, but I want the MCU. I want an MCU show in the tone of the Queen's Gambit. No action, just intellectual drama. That's not blasphemy. Do it.
I mean, I think 123 Rock fan, if you've seen Loki, which I'm assuming you have because you've been here the whole stream pretty much. I feel like this, and I cut it out of my review of the episode because I didn't really have time for it. I think this series, this show, has proven, obviously we've seen more action in the trailers and stuff, so there's going to be more stuff. But in this episode specifically, we have the intellectual game of chess, metaphorically, between the two of them trying to figure out the other's motive, figure out what's going on. And you have these attacks by Loki and a few kind of, exciting sequences or scenes, but nothing where the action detracts from important conversations or cuts away from important conversations. So I would argue, I've not seen Queen's Gambit. I'm very bad. I said this in the last stream. I'm very bad at getting to Netflix originals when they're popular. It's just a curse I carry. But I think this series might be kind of, at least this episode is what you're talking about.
I will echo. Just gonna say the same thing. Maddie, did y'all see Peggy Carter in the Loki episode? No. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, Maddie.
She's
gonna call me out for this, but she wasn't there, Maddie. I'm sorry, girlfriend. She wasn't there.
She's not there.
She is living at home with Steve in the 50s or the 60s or whatever, and they're just happy. Okay. Well, actually, I guess in this timeline they might not be alive anymore, which is kind of sad.
Maddie did nothing wrong. Not Maddie. Peggy. Peggy did nothing wrong. If anyone, it would have been Steve. What? Yeah. I know. I hate to break it to you. If anyone, yes, she was.
The thing is, I would understand this if somehow Haley Atwell was listed as a cameo.
Yeah.
I would be all for that. And I get people saying that, but it doesn't. No, there's nothing she would have done, especially too, because I don't know. And some people don't like this ending for Cap. I think Cap going back to the 1950s and being with Peggy and probably having a family, that's perfect. That's what their ending was meant to be. I'm not saying Peggy didn't stop her SHIELD work after that, but I think, Maddie, we're joking with you. We know what you're talking about. We know the scene that you're talking about. We've seen the Twitter stuff.
We have seen it.
We've addressed this.
We are confirming.
We're saying that we're saying her. Even though people believe that to be her, we're saying it's not her.
It's not, yeah.
We're messing with you.
But also saying that it's not.
It's not her.
Sorry. I hate to break your heart. Media owes him an apology, I swear. I think talking about Chadwick, and she got another comment. Black Panther was a hero I needed to see as a kid. It's important little kids see the people of the same color and culture in their favorite series. I completely echo.
I think that's something that's why I love long form content so much. You bring in new people, different characters, different life experiences, different physical appearances, and that allows people opportunities to find someone they identify with, whether that be skin color, life experience, gender, whatever it is. Like, I think that kind of stuff in something like the MCU is so important. It's a shame we didn't get Black Panther sooner. Black Panther, in my opinion, is a phase 2 movie that came out in phase 3, but I wish we had more time with Chadwick. I agree. I think the recent Oscar stuff, which we talked about last week, was a shame.
But even in the short time that we got him, he had such an impact. An impact. It is just incredible. Jack, I just watched La La Land. It's my new favorite. I love it so much. Welcome to the club, buddy. Welcome.
Here's my wrong side. That's my poster over there, Reagan.
I'm gonna be doing a La La Land thing soon.
Such a great movie.
It's coming. I'm scheming. I'm in the kitchen. I'm scheming. Sasha says a great point. I really appreciate the dialogue in Loki. I don't know what this is to, but
this is the Queen's Gambit comment, I believe.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, Lucky is played by a girl dog. Her name is Joel.
Oh, that makes my whole day. That's amazing.
Oh, that's awesome. Maddie, breaking my heart. It's broken.
Sorry,
I apologize.
Maddie.
I apologize. I'm sorry. Like Mephisto and WandaVision all over again with Peggy LOL.
I think
Peggy like in the background sometime each episode.
It's been Peggy.
There she is. It's Peggy sighting.
Oh
the Mephisto craze in WandaVision was crazy.
I think people are, and I was thinking about making a video about this, and now I feel like I want to just because of how much this has come up in the stream, and it'd be pretty relevant to this whole like, oh, is Peggy Carter in the background of Loki? Guys, there was a show about Peggy Carter. It was on ABC. It was called Agent Carter, and
yep.
I don't feel like that many people have seen it. I get it. It does not have as much importance in the MCU. I get it. It's a prequel series to, or it takes place in the 1950s, so it's a prequel to anything that really happens of importance. But like, you get to see the origins of Jarvis. You get to see more of Howard Stark, played by the same actor. Like, this was just the Disney's first attempt to have these TV shows. It's just that now we're getting them to the same quality and production value as before, and we don't have commercials interfering. But I've seen a couple episodes of Agent Carter. It is definitely for fans of people who want to see Peggy Carter get up to a little bit of mischief, but not show up at TVA. That's what you need to go to watch.
Yep. Is Sasha on Letterboxd? So I'll follow her. Linked in the
description. I am. I believe it's just Sasha Raquel all together.
And it's linked in the description. So go get it. All her stuff's linked in the description. So go follow her and everything. Since we're touching on it with how Black and now Asian superheroes, I want to see a Latin hero. We have 2 Latin actors plays one alien, and then the other is a side character, Luis. Completely agree.
Agree.
I think we need the full slate. Legitimately, and I think the Eternals. It seems like there's a lot of different diversity in the Eternals, and I think Marvel is really starting to take that step. You know, with Shang-Chi, we've had Black Panther. We're really starting to open that up more. I think we will, and I really like the way that they are, the way that they're going with that.
The thing I think that's the closest contender for something that's yet to be announced, but I think makes sense, is the I don't know what her name is, but her name is Miss America Chavez.
Oh yeah, she has been cast.
She has? Okay.
Cast. Yeah.
I think she will probably be the next thing, and I think the one thing that I'm interested in, and we can get into this maybe a little bit, the Young Avengers theory and stuff. What I'm curious about with that stuff is there's heroes like Kamala Khan and America Chavez, Miss America, who could be much younger characters, like teenagers, truly teenagers. We got Billy and Tommy. We've got Spider-Man, who's supposed to be a teenager still. Yeah. But then we have Yelena Belova, who is only 10 years, well, Florence Pugh is only 10 years younger than Scarlett Johansson. So I'm curious to see what the longevity is with the new team, you know, of how soon, because I don't know if we're getting Young Avengers in the next 5 years. We could be, but I don't know.
I think they're setting that one up pretty quick, I think.
I agree.
We'll see. You're acting like I didn't watch it. I did, in all caps. Sasha, I'm gonna text to yell at you now.
My phone is buzzing, so she is. For the people in the chat curious.
I love her passion.
She's a very passionate gal. She is for the two of us. We were in a class. I talked about this last week, where our case studies were Harry Potter, Marvel, and Star Wars. Maddie's specialty is Star Wars. So Maddie, I'm gonna use my Marvel girl card today and say it's not Peggy Carter. You can use your Star Wars card to tell me that Solo is a good movie. I won't believe it.
What are you talking about?
But I didn't like it. That's a conversation for another day. Solo's but Maddie, you've made a friend in Jack tonight. I can take it. I can take it, but no, that's not Peggy Carter.
Have you guys seen The Gifted, the Marvel show? I feel like it's not talked about enough, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I actually haven't.
I've watched the only Marvel shows outside of, obviously, WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier, Loki. I've seen Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Not all the way through, though, but Coulson being alive was like my first theory came to pass.
No, I'm joking.
Sorry to everyone. That was addressed today. We got to see Coulson back in the MCU.
I already knew that. Yeah.
But Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Agent Carter. I've seen a couple episodes of Legion, and I don't think anything else. But I know there's a Hulu show, I think, called Cloak and Dagger.
Yeah.
That is an MCU show. I haven't seen that.
Marvel show. I don't know how MCU. I think actually there might have been an MCU.
That's the thing, is I don't know what technically classifies as MCU stuff.
Because even the Defenders on Netflix, I think, had mentioned the event or something, and it was the Battle of New York. From the first Avengers.
But it's not.
It's not. I don't know. I don't know how it works.
I'm excited to see what's going on with the Defenders, because I've yet to really see any of those. Really explore them. But Marvel has bought them all back now, and they're just waiting for the things to expire on Netflix. So catch it while you can if you have a Netflix.
Spider-Man. That's another theory.
Well, the other thing that connects them, just because we've been talking about Hawkeye, Echo, who is a character. Oh, I don't know about She-Hulk, but Echo,
Daredevil, yeah. But
gotcha. Echo, okay, Echo, who is a deaf Native American superhero. She is in talks to have her own spin-off series, but in the comics, she is mainly attached to either Hawkeye or Daredevil. So I'll be interested to see, once all of these acquisitions come to pass over the next couple of years, who gets paired with who shows up with who, that kind of stuff.
And She-Hulk is a courtroom driven, it's gonna be a courtroom
like
drama.
Jessica Jones, right?
And Daredevil is a lawyer. So
okay,
bring it on. Will you guys be watching TV spots for upcoming episodes, or we avoid them? I'll watch them. They're not gonna give much.
I would watch them. I think for me, with the first episode, I avoided I don't want to say avoid, but I didn't intentionally watch things when they showed up on my feed. I would just kind of scroll past, just because I kind of wanted a fresh take. And the one thing I am satisfied with so far, and the reason I probably will watch the TV spots if they pop up for me, I won't seek them out, but if they pop up, is the fact that I think a lot of this stuff is going to be, that we've seen so far, is going to be in earlier episodes as opposed to later episodes, specifically because of the impact we've already discussed at length here of what this series is going to accomplish.
Yeah, it's going to be like the ones where they're oh, previously, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do y'all have TikTok or no? Yeah, I actually just launched my TikTok a week and a half ago.
So I actually do not have TikTok.
I swore I would never do TikTok. I would never be one of those people. But then I was like, yeah, but it could get me extra views and people could come over. So I am. I am. It's linked at the bottom of my so Sasha has a block and then I have a block. It's the bottom link in my block. Basically all I'm doing, I'm not doing all the theories and stuff. I just don't have enough time for that. But I'll pull up I'm doing review. My camera's over here. I'm doing reviews of movies I see and stuff. And then I did a TikTok of my Blu-ray collection. And if you comment on that, a movie you see on there that you want me to review, I'll do a mini review of it and show you the type that I have. But yeah, go follow me on TikTok. I'm trying to grow that a little bit. Reagan just followed you on Letterboxd.
Thank you, Reagan.
You guys should do this on Letterboxd. Don't rate it. Just add something you haven't seen but have immediate access to your watched. I don't know exactly what you're saying there, but
are you meaning like a movie that we haven't seen but add it to what we've watched so you can have a recommendation? If you could clarify, Reagan.
Yeah, if you
clarify, we would know
that,
what you mean.
I'll let you know. Maddie and Jack seem to have a connection. Wink, wink. Stop trying to play matchmaker, chat.
Come on, guys.
Stop trying to play matchmaker. Who knows? Stop trying to play matchmaker. But no, stop. Gifted has a lot of diversity and a lot of underrated Marvel characters. Polaris, Psylocke, Thunderbird, etc., etc. I haven't heard of any of those characters. Like, I'm pretty much just in the MCU, but bring it, do it. Anything
I think there's
diversity.
I think there's certain stuff where I'm like, I run the verge of, do I become the person that like devotes all my time to watching Marvel stuff, whether it be MCU or not, and I just know about all of it, whether it has pertinence to the sacred timeline, I guess is what we can refer to it as now, of the entirety of the MCU. So there's certain stuff I want to watch, but that's like why I haven't seen all of Agent Carter, is because I'm like, ultimately it doesn't have that much of an importance. Yeah. Especially just with the new shows. But I definitely think that I don't know, I think there's a lot of different Marvel shows that appeal to different audiences for different types of viewers, and I think that's great.
Yeah. The Gifted is supposed to be post X-Men. If you like X-Men, you would enjoy it. All right.
Okay.
Good to know. I'm also going to watch the X-Men series. Is it worth it? I haven't seen it. I don't know.
I would say, okay, so the only two I haven't seen are...
Oh, I've seen Logan. That's it.
I haven't seen Apocalypse.
Count too.
Yeah, so I've seen Deadpool. I haven't watched Apocalypse or Dark Phoenix. So the one where I've seen the one where Sophie Turner is Jean Grey. I haven't seen that, and I haven't seen Apocalypse. But Days of Future Past slaps. Okay, the original X-Men is a fun watch. Like, I don't think there's anything not enjoyable about them, but the integration isn't as good as Marvel. But then again, if you want a time traveling movie, Days of Future Past, like, you have to. And X-Men, Logan is fantastic. You have to watch that if you like movies. And then
for best screenplay at the Oscars, if that's
like. And then shoot, what is not Days of Future Past, but the one where they're young? Or is that Days of Future Past? I feel like there's yes, First Class. First Class is also really good. Just the X-Men are just, I'm not as big of an X-Men fan as I am Avengers. So I think that's just where it falls. If you want to watch something fun, highly recommend. But
Deadpool.
But yeah,
those are in the X-Men universe. Deadpool's hilarious.
Deadpool and Deadpool 2 are pretty much perfect movies in my opinion. Yeah. I think they're hilarious.
Click watched on a movie you have access to via Blu-ray or streaming, but it's a film you haven't seen. See, I'm not going to do that because I use Letterboxd as a system where I keep track of what I have watched. So yeah, if I kind of do the same thing. I log that, then it's going to be like, oh, I've watched it, but I really haven't.
I can add if you want. Sorry, go ahead, Jack.
No, go ahead. I was just going to say I like the idea, but that would kind of screw up how I document my movies.
I have so I realize you could put movies that you haven't watched on lists.
Your watch list.
I have like a top of the watch list, Reagan. If you just followed me, you can go to it. Now these are like my personals, and like some of them will be referenced from like movie draft stuff that I keep saying, oh, I need to see that, I need to see that. So yeah, no, the town's on there. So that's my, like, if you're looking for something to watch, and I'm trying to think, I don't know if I have the Blu-rays of any of them. A Blu-ray I got yesterday at Goodwill, Man of Steel, I've never seen.
Oh,
so if you want something, there's something. Goodwill is great if you want to get Blu-rays, guys, and you don't mind if they're not 100% the best condition, but you can find some serious steals.
I'm just going to say this. I haven't been showing this person's chats because I don't want to. It's either Jeremy or Marshall, whichever one of you it is. Slack me and tell me how many accounts you're going to make just so I'm prepared. It's either Jeremy or Marshall. And Jeremy, I just slacked you. So get back with me. I think it's Marshall, though, because he said he was going to watch tonight. Polaris is Wanda's sibling. Didn't know that.
Interesting.
Update. Jeremy just said what? So I'm going to say, then it's Marshall.
If for whoever asked about X-Men being worth it, if you like the idea of Quicksilver, I believe he's in First Class is the one where you see Evan Peters Quicksilver for the first time. Or maybe it is Days of Future Past. I think it's Days of Future Past. Someone in the chat who knows X-Men better than I do that. But yeah, there's no, as far as I know, in the X-Men universe currently, there is no Scarlet Witch. But I don't even think that Magneto is necessarily confirmed to be his dad in the movies the way he is in the comics. For those of you who don't know,
that was another one.
Because Magneto is Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver's father in the comics. Yeah. In certain comic lines.
Excuse me. I'm only going to watch PG-13 ones because I'm young and can't watch R stuff, but for the movies.
Gotcha.
Yeah, well, then you're missing out on some of the best ones, unfortunately.
Yeah. I hate to say it, and I definitely say stick to that. Don't break any rules just because Deadpool and Deadpool 2 are super vulgar and Logan is super violent. And I mean super violent. So those are hard R's to stick by. And I mad respect you for saying you're not going to do that because I mad respect other rule followers because I totally was the same way. So
yeah, I totally watched R-rated movies before I was however old you are. X-Men Origins was horrible. I haven't seen it. Ryan Reynolds didn't act in Deadpool. He just played himself. That is a true statement.
I think pretty much now Ryan Reynolds pretty much just only goes into stuff that he can play himself. Like the character in the Mint Mobile ads is the same character that is Deadpool or Free Guy or any like slight variations, but pretty much the same.
Though? It works.
Yeah, and I think that's one of those things where people might be like, oh, that's not really talent, you know? I don't think Michaela's making that accusation, but like people could claim that that's not talent. That is talent to have crafted a persona for yourself that then can be applicable to characters that then you have your personal brand.
But he's also perfect as Deadpool because that is Deadpool in the comics.
Yes.
Like that
yes.
is.
I think that's what 123 Rock Fan, when they said X-Men Origins is horrible, they're talking about X-Men Origin Wolverine.
Yeah.
People don't like that because Deadpool's character in that is kind of dumb.
Yeah. That's what I've heard.
So.
Went to Goodwill on Thursday. I do Blu-ray and DVDs and bought a ton. Found some great deals. Sick.
They're fantastic.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, Blu-rays are $3, $2.92, I think, at Goodwill. And then if you go on a certain day, they do different deals at Goodwill of like 50% off, or this tag is like orange stickers are such and such cheaper. And so Blu-rays and that are the same way. Also, if you're like a VHS collector, which I have a very small collection of some Disney animated classics on VHS. Don't ask me why, but I've got like a VCR. I just like the fact that they're old and retro and I like to collect them. Those are like 99 cents at Goodwill because no one wants those anymore. You could pick up a VCR and a couple of those and it's a great deal. For hunting for Blu-rays, unless if you're on a budget, that's a really great way to start a collection. Because Best Buy's deals kind of stay the same from week to week. You know,
it's funny you mentioned that because tomorrow on the Fanatic Films YouTube channel, I actually have a video going up that I've wanted to make for a long time. 5 tips for starting your own physical media collection.
There you go.
Someone who has a huge Blu-ray collection. It's so funny we brought that up because that's literally the video coming out tomorrow. So, yeah.
That's amazing.
That's going to be cool. So, everyone look out for that. It's going to be a fun one. I had a lot of fun making it. It's like my 5 tips that I live by for saving money, being smart, and not breaking your bank. Sasha, I have to say one thing to you. How much do you want to go to Big Red's Pizza Place? I don't know what that is.
I really want to go. So in High School Musical, the series, Big Red, who is the main character, Guy's best friend.
Oh, yeah.
His family owns a pizza shop. And this season, that's a lot of where they're like hanging out. It's kind of like in sitcoms where they have the bar or the coffee shop they hang out at. This has become that in that show. And desperately, I last summer went to visit some family in Salt Lake City and was like, please. I've been begging for years. I was like, just drive me past the high school. Please drive me past East High. Like, it's there. It's right there. And this time my parents were like, like I said before we went on the trip, I was like, I have one stipulation. We're going to do this on the way back from the airport. It's a 5-minute detour. Please, we're going. And we did. And my mom took some zoomed in pictures of me, but I was so happy anyways. So if Big Red Pizza Place is not just a set and it's an actual, like, I would love to go in the fictional world, obviously, but if it's an actual set, because one of the coffee shops that they featured last season was an actual place in Salt Lake City. It was an actual business, which I assume they would continue that trend in the second season. I would love to. I would love to go.
Absolutely. Out of the blue, but what is your guys' favorite movie of the year so far?
Favorite movie of the year?
I'll let you think. I know mine. Mass. None of y'all have seen it yet. It premiered at Sundance. It's an incredible movie. It's going to be up for a bunch of Oscar buzz this year. And Lucius Malfoy is going to win an Oscar. I'm calling it. But yeah, Mass is one of the most incredible experiences I've had with a film. And my mom would agree to that. It's her favorite movie of the year too. So
this is easy actually. I totally forgot about this film, which maybe speaks to the fact that I don't know. I have watched a lot this year. The Little Things is my favorite movie of the year. I think it is massively underrated. Its script is impeccable. I love The Little Things. Oh, all right. Well, we're about to get into a conversation now.
Okay, so if you follow me on Letterboxd,
let's see what Jack's Letterboxd review for The Little Things was. Okay, let's see. Where are your lists? I'm assuming you have a 2021. Yeah. Okay, it's not even in the top 40 unless I'm past it. Well, it's not lower than... Wait, is this 2020 or is this 2021? It's not lower than Lockdown. Sorry, guys, I'm looking. I don't know if it's on his list.
We were doing so
Jack, am I blind? I can't find it.
What?
Little Thing. It's rated 69.
Oh, I'm right.
Of his list of 2021. It is... He gave it... is that the average rating? Why can I not see what you rated it? Guys, I'm sorry. I use Letterboxd. I just log the movies on there, and sometimes I don't even realize how to, like, look through the rest of the things. I'm looking. Trying to find it. Where is it? Oh, I just passed it. He gave it 2.5 stars for people wondering. I gave it 4.
We were doing so good. As I was saying, before I was rudely interrupted by my Wi-Fi connection, I've seen a total of 83 2021 releases. The Little Things is 69. Didn't like
it. I loved it. I watched it twice. I loved it just as much the second time as I did the first. I would say other than that, I have definitely not watched that many 2021 releases. Honestly, well, I guess maybe I should just go by my Letterboxd ratings. You guys can check out my Letterboxd if you want to see.
No. If The Little Things is your favorite, it's your favorite. Film is subjective.
I think The Little Things is my favorite. Listen, I got to be honest. I think The Little Things is my favorite. I think the only thing that maybe, and I, as an MCU fan, and I don't want to be like the MCU and Marvel fan, or the DC and MCU fans need to be in like a fight or blah, 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 blah. I was genuinely blown away by Zack Snyder's Justice League. Now, I will never watch that movie again because it was 4 hours of my life, and I just am personally not, like, I don't vibe with those characters. I just don't. But this movie made me care about them, and it is so much better than the pile of garbage that came out in 2017 that I had to pay all this money to go see in theaters. It was so good. It was worth probably 2 or 3 months worth of my HBO Max subscription to see that. So both of them were HBO Max releases, but I thoroughly enjoyed both of those. I think those would be my top 2.
Yeah, I'm never going to watch the entirety of this Justice League again, but I'm going to go back to when the Flash goes back in time, because y'all know I love the Flash. Like I say, he's my number 2 favorite superhero. I love the TV show, and that moment was a moment for Flash fans, and I loved it. And that score.
Yeah, I think that's another thing. I watched several seasons of Arrow, and I've seen at least 2 seasons of Flash. I like that version of Barry Allen way more than I do Ezra Miller's version of Barry Allen. So I think that, to me, partially impacted my opinion of the Justice League. But I just don't personally connect with those characters as much as I do the MCU characters.
Yeah. He does it so good, though. He's hilarious talking about Ryan Reynolds. Yes.
He's great.
100%. I found a bunch of Criterion Blu-rays at Goodwill. What Goodwill did you go to? Can I go to?
It's really amazing when it that expression, one man's trash is another man's treasure.
Who's just throwing out Criterions at a Goodwill? You're getting them for $3. They're $40 at Barnes & Noble. Jesus, mother of God. Michaela, are you guys musical fiends? I am, and I've seen In the Heights this week, and I saw them on Broadway a long time ago. Freak yeah.
I like musicals. I wouldn't call myself a fiend because I definitely don't actively seek them out, but I'm never opposed to a good musical. I mean, my favorite movie is La La Land, so I guess I have to be a musical fiend. And my entire summer, last summer, people thought I was lying to them when I said I'd only seen Hamilton once, because that's how invested I was with those characters, the actors, the story, the music. I'm so psyched for In the Heights this weekend. I'm genuinely so excited.
You guys are gonna freaking love it. I just
so pumped.
Y'all go check out my review. It came out a month and a half ago. That movie is freaking incredible. It's in my top 5 of the year. And that opening number, I almost have completely memorized. I'm almost there. And it's 7 minutes. I'm almost there.
That's impressive.
When you're investing, at least once each car ride on the way to work every day. I got all the really difficult rapping parts down already. I got those down.
That's good. Yeah. Made progress then.
We're making progress. Unpopular opinion, I really like the Suicide Squad. That is a very unpopular opinion. That is trash.
I think that I really liked the music from that, if I'm going to say something nice about it. Again, I don't know how to put it into words. I don't like DC. I don't find the characters compelling. Especially because Marvel has done it so well, and I'm not saying it's the only way to do it. You should certainly be able to do whatever you want in your universe, multiverse, whatever, expanded universe, whatever. I like the fact that every time I go to see a movie, Captain America was Steve Rogers, played by Chris Evans, until he became Sam Wilson, which diegetically makes sense in the story world. So I'm not a fan of different iterations. I think Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn is the only standout across the DCU for me, with the exception of the first Wonder Woman film. Anything else, and then Nolan's Batman trilogy, and then now I'm coming up with more and more stuff, but then Joaquin Phoenix. I like specific character studies if they're going to do different actors. I think that's really interesting, and I like the fact that in certain parts of those films they've said, you know what, with specifically Joker and with the Nolan Batman trilogy, Marvel's doing the funny, family-friendly stuff. Let's not do that. That's what I like. That's what Suicide Squad didn't. Suicide Squad wanted to be Guardians of the Galaxy so bad. And it wasn't. In any way, shape, or form. It wasn't. That's my opinion. Sorry.
8 to the men.
That's how I feel.
Lin-Manuel Miranda never fails us.
No, he doesn't.
Amen. So excited to see your guys' favorite movies. La La Land is so good. It's the greatest movie that's ever been made. It's perfect, and nothing will ever change that.
Absolutely.
Mitchell, hey guys, what's up, man?
Hey, Mitchell.
Very much Netflix's Camp Rock, but I really enjoyed Netflix's musical Week of Life from March this year. Gotta check it out. I haven't even heard
I'm really interested to see Over the Moon, because that's also a musical as well.
I'm very excited for Tick Tick Boom, which comes out later this year. Do you know about that?
No.
Lin-Manuel's directorial debut starring Andrew Garfield.
Okay, well, I don't know how I haven't heard about that, but that sounds amazing. Sign me up.
Because we've seen like two frames of footage and that's it. It was in
Say
like
less.
It was in like that Netflix sizzle reel that they put out a few months ago.
Oh, yeah. The movie every week thing.
Yeah. I'm very excited for that one. I did finish the very first episode. Loki was phenomenal.
Agreed.
Absolutely brilliant.
Beautiful.
Yeah. You don't have to like DC. I really only a fan of the shows Flash and Arrow. Other than that, the movies don't intrigue me at all. Hey, we're on the same wavelength. Flash and Arrow.
I think the Arrowverse is very compelling to me. I think what the CW has been able to do with that's what I've heard from some people. I saw Jordan Fisher was playing Barry's and Iris's son, which I thought was kind of cool just because I like him. But I think and then that's why I think I like it, right? Is it's similar to the MCU. I think I'm just a fan of the structure of same actors playing the same characters who live in the same world, whose interactions have, they impact one another. Whereas in like I would love if a Snyderverse came to pass because it'd be the dark side of DC that I actually kind of do enjoy as a guilty pleasure. But like, yeah, it's not my jam, and I think that's fine. And I totally think it's fine if MCU is not people's jam because I get it. I get it.
It's personal preference. At Walmart, I found 20th anniversary slipcover for Shrek for $10. Steal for me, granted. It was a DVD. That's what I collect mostly, so I'm fine with it. That's great. I will just my 2 cents. I would start looking into Blu-ray and 4K. That's the future. That's the format. We're never going to get past 4K. There's not another ratio higher. 4K is where it's going to stop. And it's just noticeably different. Like my parents had a set of The Godfather, all 3 movies on DVD. Watched those the first time last summer so I could watch The Godfather. The movies are great, but the quality was terrible. So for Black Friday, I got The Godfather set, $10 for Black Friday. Watched them again over Christmas break. And the quality is just a billion times better. If you don't care, that's fine. But all I would say is Blu-ray and 4K are like better. Now you'd have to get and the great part is with like Blu-rays, if you don't have a Blu-ray player, most of them do come with the DVD.
Most of them do. And the other thing I think with Blu-ray and 4K movies now, if you're at all like a console person, like for Christmas, I asked for my like big one thing that I wanted was a new Xbox. Was not really even at the time for video games because I still don't play console games nearly as much as I like play PC stuff, but it was because of the ability to have it as a streaming box, but that also could future-proof for 4K movies. Like once you have 4K DVDs or Blu-ray even, but 4K DVDs or 4K, I don't know, like Apple or Amazon purchases, like digital copies, and then you have the player for it, a console or whatever. You're getting a couple things in one, and then all you have is the limitation of the TV. It's definitely it's a pricey thing now. I totally understand that because I'm even a little opposed because when I first put a 4K DVD in my I got a 4K Ex Machina on sale at Best Buy, put it in my Xbox. It was making some funky noises. Okay, I was really scared.
That's the Xbox, but that's not the disc.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I was told. Noises. I think there's been some fixes to it, but yeah, it's definitely a future proofing thing if you're looking to get into whatchamacallit, physical media.
No, that's just what I would say. It is kind of expensive, but like I got my 4K player for maybe $100, which sounds expensive, but it's really not. That's actually really good. And then the TV I got was maybe around 500, and it's like a 75-inch 4K for $500. Really good. You just got to know where to look. You got to find the deals and invest. Like, don't buy everything right away. Like, invest. That's what I would say. I find Owen Wilson's performance excellent in Loki. Yes.
Agreed.
We've already touched on it, but yes, I mean, it's just absolutely amazing. It's great. Tick, Tick, Boom, not only with Garfield, but also Vanessa Hudgens back in a musical. Lit.
That's incredible. That's super exciting.
Yeah. Off topic, your thoughts on Rob Zombie directing a reboot of The Munsters? weirdest movie news I've heard in a while. I don't know anything about the Munsters. I know that it's like famous old horror, and Rob Zombie obviously did like, you know, a lot of the Halloween stuff and stuff like that. Cool. Not a big horror guy.
Yeah, I'm not familiar. I'm not a horror person as well. There's certain horror that if it's got, I hate to say this, I don't want to offend any horror fans. If the horror has a purpose, or it's horror as like a vehicle, which I know is like the trendy thing to throw around now, but like if it's horror for a specific purpose or a little bit more on the thriller side of horror, I can get on board. But if it's just straight up like I did not see The Conjuring, and I don't intend to.
I've actually seen all 3 of them, and they're actually pretty good as a horror guy. As a non-horror guy.
Non-horror guy, okay.
Okay, I love Jordan Fisher. There's so much hate on him playing the character, which I don't agree with personally. I don't either. I don't agree with that. And I'm gonna go to the whole Ben Platt thing as well. Like with Dear Evan Hansen, y'all are dumb if you think that he looks out of place, or if you have a problem with him playing that character because he looks a little bit older. Let me just put it to you this way. Season 2 of The Politician, which is is a great show that's come out on Netflix.
Politician is fantastic.
Came out last year in the summer during COVID, I believe. It may have been 2019. I can't confirm that, but season 2.
No, I think you're right.
Like either last year or the year before. He was portraying a high schooler. Now he was transitioning into college, but it was same age period. It's fine. He looks fine. And wouldn't you rather have the person who it is his character? It's his character. The one that he made famous on Broadway. It's his character. Wouldn't you rather have him than someone else? Because I guarantee if they would have cast someone else, you know what everyone would have been saying? But it's not Ben Platt.
Yeah.
You can't win. That's why I hate film Twitter.
Film Twitter can be very frustrating at times. And I also, that's interesting, the connection, because Jordan Fisher also played Dear Evan Hansen, right? Or yeah. I keep saying Dear Evan.
That's why I brought it up. But yeah. But grown-ass men are playing Evan Hansen on Broadway right now. Y'all get over yourselves.
Also, wait. Before we move on, no one had a problem that Anthony Ramos played Philip. My name is Philip. I am a poet. I wrote this rhyme just to show it. Okay, whatever.
But I think that's how it was kind of written in Hamilton.
Yes,
it's always been a grown-ass man.
But I'm just saying, why do people, when it switches from theater to the movies, have such a problem with it? Like, I don't know.
Sasha, it's film Twitter. It doesn't make any sense.
It is. You're right. I love Jordan Fisher. His streams, his voice is angelic.
Oh my God.
Angelic. Singing, speaking, talking, whatever. Also, there used to be this clip, I don't know if it's on his Twitch anymore, of him missing where he's supposed to like hit the beach ball on like a dance move or something on Teen Beach Movie, because he was in that. Yeah, and it is maybe the funniest like thing I've ever seen. It's just that clip of him.
Yeah. All right, get your guys' comments in because I gotta go to bed soon. I gotta take a shower.
It is late.
So, but I appreciate y'all. This is awesome.
Yes. Thank you to everyone who's come to the stream.
We've gone from Loki live stream to full on Q&A, and I love it. We're gonna be here every Wednesday until Loki's over. I did want to compare Owen's performance in Loki to him in Wedding Crashers because I love both of his performances. I haven't seen Wedding Crashers. But
I haven't either. My favorite Owen Wilson performance is in a movie called The Internship. Yeah, that is my favorite.
That one's thrown around a lot.
That movie is hysterical.
Yeah. I would buy Blu-ray 4K, but they're more expensive. I usually don't earn money on a normal basis. That's why I don't own them. That's perfectly fine. Like I said, you do what you're comfortable with. The video tomorrow actually is a lot about how you save money and how you get Blu-rays and 4Ks cheap. That's a lot about what I do because I have a huge collection. I'm not paying full price for all those movies. I'd be bankrupt. Yeah. It's not happening. It's my secrets. It's my not secrets. Like a lot of people know that, but it's my strategy with when I want to go pick something up, how I do it. So check out that video tomorrow. Maybe
I think also, and I'm sure Jack goes into this in his video. It's one of those things where it's like you don't collect the stuff overnight. It's not always supposed to be you go to the store and you can get like 5 or something. Like I go to Best Buy every single Sunday. That has like become like my ritual. And probably for the last 2 months I haven't bought anything. just because nothing's been on sale or nothing has piqued my interest enough, or there's no interesting steelbooks that I would even consider paying the money for. And that's where I really recommend the Goodwill, because if you can go regularly, there's also usually a couple Goodwills in the area that you can hit up. Like I know in Athens, there's 2 specifically. So that's, 2 times to go once a week to just see if there's anything.
Yeah. And if you earn an allowance or you're doing some side jobs. I know, Reagan, you said you're a little younger. If you're earning money that way, save your money for Black Friday. That's the day. That's the day. All the deals, which, by the way, can I just bring this up real quick? My mom sent me this tweet today, and this made me big sad. Best Buy, Target, Walmart, all aren't going to be open on Black Friday again this year. They announced.
Oh my gosh. I love going Black Friday shopping. That's so frustrating.
I do too. I literally said in that video, which now it's null and void, but I literally said, I'm like, oh, Jeremy.
Cyber Monday still applies, though.
Cyber Monday applies as well. But the great part about that is now they're going to do what they did last year, where it's out for like all the month of November.
Yeah.
So just November, if you're around a Best Buy, a Target, or a Walmart, just kind of go look around.
Yeah.
And they're not always in the Blu-ray section. Like Target, they're in the clothes. There's like caps with like movies. So like, if that's like how you're making money, like if you're doing like some side jobs, mowing some lawns, or if you get an allowance or something like that, save up for the month of November, because that's gonna be a big month. You can get all the deals then. That's like the Super Bowl for physical media collectors. And ask for your birthday. That's how I get a lot of my stuff. Ask for my birthday. Has Sasha watched Zoolander with Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson? You guys already know I haven't, so you didn't even ask if I had.
No, I feel like this is definitely, I'll just address it quickly. There's a lot of movies that I haven't seen. I'm doing the 100 movies challenge this year that Jack has done, that Chris has done, that a lot of people in the YouTube community have done to try to make some of the answers of this. Yes, but I took Chris's advice of making a list, but allowing myself to substitute movies a little too much, that now it's like I'm watching stuff and I'm like, sure, like, like I watched The Gentleman, which was definitely not a movie that was on my list. The movies that were on my list were like The Godfathers Part 2 and 3 or whatever else, like classic movies, and I just haven't gone around to them.
The way I went about it last year was I was like, I didn't have any strategy to it. I was like, I had criteria, I said it has to come out 2018 or back. So not a 2019 or 2020 movie. Fair game, though. So it's just like whatever I wanted to watch. And I happened to watch like The Godfathers and things like that because I genuinely wanted to watch them. And I think Chris's strategy is good to have a list, but also it's like, but if you don't have those movies accessible to you, it's like just watch whatever. And I ended up watching like above and beyond 100 because I was like, okay, this applies. It's,
right.
But you do what's easiest for you. I think that's just how you tackle it. It's a daunting task, and COVID helped me get through it a lot because I just had time. Yeah. But it's a daunting task. Oh, here's a good question. Who is your Disney Plus profile picture? I go back and forth between Gambit and Disney and Black Panther. That is a great question.
Okay, mine is Belle from Beauty and the Beast because she is my favorite Disney princess. I love her. And I haven't even looked. That's what it's been since I've gone Disney Plus. Literally November 2019, the day it launched. That's what I had. So I have not changed it since. So I don't even know what the other ones are. Because I'm sure they've added some.
You guys already know what mine is. Come on. You already know. I don't even need to answer that question. You already know what mine is. Do you think Disney will buy back Spider-Man? I sure as hell hope they do. Do I think they will? Probably not. I think Sony's going to hold firm with like their spider plans. Don't think it's going to happen. I think they'll continue the deal of he comes into the MCU, goes into those. I think that's what'll happen.
It's most beneficial for them as a company to get to do what they want, and I think they're making the most money that way because I mean they saw what happened when that deal was in conversations for like 2 months in 2019. There were people, maybe myself included, who were like, I'm boycotting Sony. I'm not doing any of this, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So I don't think Sony is not going to want to let him go. But Sony is also smart enough to not just say, well, we're taking him back now.
Yeah. Their excuse for hating on him, Jordan Fisher, she says below it, Enduring Hansen was he was too good looking. Like, huh? People are weird. Is Multiverse Madness horror rumor true? Because I don't know if I would feel about it being a horror person. It was, but now it's not.
Oh, really? That's been revoked?
Raimi came in and completely rewrote the script.
Oh.
That report just came out like this past week.
Okay.
Like the writer was like, yeah, we completely rewrote the script when Raimi came in. Because that was going to be Scott Derrickson, and he's like the horror guy.
Okay.
But when Raimi came in, so that was originally true, but now it's, no, I don't think it's going to be horror at all. Pfft, you mean Anthony doesn't look like 9? I don't know. Plays it pretty convincingly.
He does.
Yeah. Owen Wilson was really funny in Meet the Parents. Owen Wilson's funny in everything he does.
Yeah, he really is.
Yeah. Love the stream. Hope to talk to you guys soon. I get out of play practice right after you guys start streaming, so I get there fast, hang with you guys, and I love it. Hey, thanks for coming.
Aw, thanks, Reagan. We really appreciate it.
Nice. Hopefully give you some good tips. Tomorrow, go check out my physical media collecting video. I think it helps. I don't know. I mean, those are tips I wish I would have known when I started. All right, good night to both of you. Love chatting. Hey, Michaela, you were great. I think this is the first time you've ever been in one of my streams.
So yes, really appreciate it, Michaela. We hope we see you next week. A lot of great
tidbits, too. A lot of great tidbits. I'm going to hit both of these at the same time. Have you guys watched Shanghai Noon or Shanghai Nights with Owen Wilson? I haven't. I actually want to, though. They look funny with Jackie Chan. Has any of you guys watched Midnight in Paris with Woody Allen? We actually talked about that one early, and I don't think either of us have seen it.
I have the Blu-ray. That was another Goodwill pickup.
Nice.
It was a Blu-ray, so I've got it. So again, it's the mix between if something's on streaming, I'm going to watch it because I know it's going to disappear if I don't already own it on physical media, but then I'm not always in the mood for the physical media that I do have. But yeah, I'll update you, Mitchell, when I watch it.
Yeah. You guys are awesome. See ya. I got to finish editing the video before it comes out tomorrow. Have a good night, man. Appreciate it. And then
bye, Reagan.
Man,
okay, so
I don't know what that means, but
so yesterday, Christian and I went to Walmart and he bought this spicy Cheetos mac and cheese, and he just brought it into my room behind where you can't see and put it on my bed, and has been texting me for the last 10 minutes. Eat it. I snuck in there, like I was covert, like try it. So I'm gonna try this for stream. I'm really scared that
I totally watched your reaction to him come in like a half an hour ago. Like discreet at all. I totally saw it.
No. He was discreet because he's not on camera, but I was not. I can't like hold my laughter if someone else is trying to do something while I'm on like a Zoom call. So I'm going to try this. I'm really scared. Okay. It's cold.
That's bad.
It's just really spicy. Okay.
It just doesn't sound good, but
I definitely see why someone. Okay, yeah, no, it's fighting back. No,
put it away.
That's a no.
Okay, put the Mac away.
No, that's. Oh man, it's getting hotter. Okay, no, we're not doing it next week.
That's fine. We're not gonna have to eat anything.
Okay, all right.
Reagan's
there you go.
Still here. He said, "Oh my god, the BTS meal at McDonald's made me scream. I can't do spicy stuff." I personally love spicy stuff.
I can do spicy, but that is like a chemical spicy. You know the difference between something that's like a good buffalo sauce that's spicy
and like
on a wing
just hurts.
Yes, that's what that is.
Yeah.
No, that was no.
My appendix is gonna burst eventually because of all the spicy stuff I eat. So that's a thing. Or it's a tank. So hopefully it's a tank. I don't want to have to get it out. Michaela, followed you both on Insta. Hope to keep up with the content. Thank you.
Thank you, Michaela.
Thank you. Thanks for the Insta follow. That's lit. Hello, Jack. On streams, I say bye and then stay. I don't know why. Because you're cool. Because you're committed. It's the watch time. It's the watch time. Bring the watch time. Yes, the watch time. You'll learn, Reagan, if you're just getting to YouTube. The watch time is important. Has Sasha watched Scott Pilgrim versus the World? That's a good question. Have you?
This came up, I think, 2 weeks ago on movie drafts.
Yeah, 2010.
Nope.
Edgar Wright. Good movie. Well, guys, that is it. We're done. I'm going to bed. Well, I'm not. I'm taking a shower and then going to bed. But thank you guys for the support. First Loki live stream was great. Sasha, thank you. This has been over almost 4 hours.
This has been great.
But I appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely. I love the way that this evolved as we went through it. This was fun. I'm really excited for the next couple weeks of this.
It's going to be great, guys. We are here every Wednesday night. Not a set time because that's due to when Sasha and I are available, like get off of work and whenever she's done with her stuff, but it'll happen eventually. Like it's past almost 1 o'clock a.m. for her, and it is almost midnight for me. So we will be here. But thank you guys. We're here every Wednesday throughout Loki. You guys are great. I see everyone saying bye guys. I see your chat. But yeah, follow us on social media. Her links are in the description. My links are in the description. And subscribe to Fanatic Films and Sasha. Subscribe to Sasha. But we were trying to push Fanatic Films over 700 subscribers.
Yes.
Help a brother out. Let's get there. We'll do one last sub check just for kicks and giggles. One last sub check. 683. So we gained one more. There we go. We're getting there, guys. So I appreciate y'all. I posted 3 videos yesterday when originally I wasn't going to post any, but I posted 3. So that was cool. So thank you guys for watching those. Thank you all. Go follow Sasha. Go subscribe to her stuff. We'll see y'all next week.
Bye, everyone.